Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. We are going to be previewing just a little joint preview with everybody. Texas, number three, Texas against the Baylor Bears in Waco tomorrow night, kicking off the Big 12 season and really just understanding what is in front of us to go out and obviously beat Baylor, but really sending a message and attacking the rest of this schedule after we finished up 3-0 in non-conference, relatively healthy and looking with at this season with all of our goals in front of us. So exciting times. As you guys come into the chat, please hit that like button. It's free to show love. Appreciate it. Excuse me, each and every one of you for joining and hanging out here Friday night. Been a busy week for me and a lot of traveling and a whole bunch of stuff going on. So this is the first time I'm back home and able to do this preview. So blessed just to be able to hang out with y'all on a Friday night, talk ball before a busy Saturday, but in a good way for college football. Week 4 is loaded. And by the way, Bleacher Report, shout out to Bleacher Report. We have our weekly show on there. Thanks to you guys that have helped me elevate to that platform. We do our weekly college football show on the Bleacher Report app, exclusively on the Bleacher Report app, where it's very college game day style. Myself, Nino's Corner, Ty from Around the Table Sports, and Jay from Unfair Sports. We, as a roundtable, pick the biggest game in college football on a weekly basis, 30 minutes to an hour long show. And then if you're on the Bleacher Report app throughout the day, they will post clips of our picks on there. So great exposure for the channel. If you're here from Bleacher Report, if you've seen us the last few weeks on the show, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Fanatic Perspective. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So I see the chat has already got going early here, but I'll start with this. A lot of talk about the inconsistencies with the offense and on the Texas side, and wanting to see a little bit more of an uptick in some of the tactics that teams have used. Obviously, Wyoming playing very conservatively, running clock. Rice at the end of the Rice game, you can argue they ran some clock, and whether it's 3-3-5 defenses against us, are we going vanilla? There's a lot of questions about the offense, and we'll nitpick and we'll get to some things and some things we want to see. We have to grade things from a standpoint of always trying to be our best selves as a team, right? And always wanting to see the best when, like I've said, especially when we have players who are regarded as having the potential to be first round picks in the NFL draft. Those are our players that need to be dominant, in my opinion, especially for us to achieve all of the goals that are on the table for this season. With that being said, I just need to reiterate this for those who may not understand or may not hear me clearly if I have not said it enough. This is a really good football team. Collectively, Texas is an excellent football team. Texas is one of the best football teams in the country. Through the first month of football, I don't think you can dispute that from a non-conference perspective. Now, again, we have to see them handle their business consistently over the course of a Big 12 slate, especially facing teams and coaches that know you the best, right? But when we look at the depth, the overall performance, the win on the road against Alabama, and the way that they're finishing these football games, as well as the strength and conditioning aspect, Texas looks strong. Texas, we haven't, again, I mentioned the injuries being minimal. We're also looking at the standpoint of the amount of guys that were playing but are able to come in and be explosive, be themselves right out the gate, especially on defense. The communication. This is a really good football team. And so anything that we say or discuss is more so from a standpoint of how do we maintain the fact that we're a good football team, and how do we elevate to pursue those goals? Because if you're a great team, you get better as the season goes along. And right now, the standard for the defense has already set the bar pretty high. And if I start going through even some of the guys of individual um, statistics, and there are some guys already putting together some all conference type seasons, some guys that will have all American type consideration. On the offensive side, where, obviously our head coach, that's his specialty, quarterback play. Quinn Ewers, yeah, he's a Heisman candidate, but this offense is not humming the way we would like to see it hum, and the way I think the places we can get to, right, over the course of the season. And insert whatever excuse you want to insert. We didn't play enough snaps. We're not running our best plays. Cedric Baxter did get hurt. We are still fine our rotational offensive line. The bottom line is we have to be there from an execution standpoint. We have to be better offensively and more consistent over the course of 4 quarters, in my opinion, regardless of what's being run. There's too many times where I'm seeing stuff where we're about to pop something and somebody just casually misses a block, or we drop a pass, or we miss a wide open throw, or we have an opportunity for an explosive play and we can't complete a reach block to spree whoever's running with the football. Things like that, right? That are holding us back, because this offense has too many talented, explosive guys, and they're too good up front, in my opinion, to be as mundane as they've been. I mean, right now, Texas offense to me hasn't been aesthetically pleasing. Just whether it's I mean, now the great thing is when they got pushed in the Alabama game, boy, everybody was cooking, right? Now we're playing at the level we wanted to play, everything. But I just want to see them match the intensity we're getting from the defense that I feel like I'm consistently getting from that side of the ball. Where then I'm really like, all right, I don't really have any questions about where we're going to go. It's more so just staying healthy and things falling into place so, you know, we can win this conference. So that's where I need to see that consistency, because they're too good to stall as much as they do. Um, they should be better on third down. I mean, even last game against Wyoming, 4 of 12 on third down, should be better there, right? So those are the type of things we want to get cleaned up. I think Trans on. Let me see if I can add him to the show here. What's up, man?
What's going on? How you doing? Sorry I'm late.
No, no worries, no worries. You got to take care of the kiddos, man.
Yeah, I got to do what I got to do.
No worries. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Appreciate you.
Um, I was just to catch you up here as I'm looking at the chat, and there's some good stuff here going on. Look, my whole basis and point here was, first and foremost, Texas coming out of non-con, really good football team. In the totality, judging where we're at, judging from how everything has looked over the first 3 games, and looked at from a standpoint of watching every team in college football, Texas is a really good football team. What I think this conversation is getting to is, hey, how do we continue to get better week over week, right? So that we're maximizing the talent potential of this team, but also getting to the goals that we have at the end of the season, which is a Big 12 championship and getting into the college football playoff, right? So that's kind of where I was at, and I was talking about the offense, just being a little sluggish. I think when they got pushed in the Alabama game, they were dynamic. They were great. They executed. But going 4 of 12 on third down in the Wyoming game, and you know, starting the Rice game, I think 0 of 5 on third down, and just not finishing drives and not being buttoned up in certain areas. I think that's why the offense hasn't been the most aesthetically pleasing to me, Tran. Um, but but they have an opportunity to start, really kicking into gear and getting into rhythm with conference play. Cedric Baxter coming back, forming a little bit more of an identity now that we've seen some guys play and matching that consistency and intensity that we're seeing on the defensive side. I think if Texas does that, nobody has any questions about them. What say you?
Well, to me, I think they have one of the best defenses to go against in practice, honestly. So they have really no excuse in my eyes to not be buttoned up. Because what I've seen from the defensive line, from the secondary, yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of times where coverage has been blown or we took a wrong angle or something like that. But for the most part, the defense has been buttoned up. Um, honestly, a lot of I just think it's still, I know it's so weird to say this, but just gaining that confidence in each other. It's like, because we're seeing a lot of missed passes, we're seeing a lot of drop balls. That stuff they should fix on a week to week basis. There hasn't been a defense that has done something just so spectacular against us that has just made us go stall.
I agree.
Yeah,
Or a player that's so dominant that we can't stop them.
exactly.
I agree.
And the fact of the matter is like, we just got to keep. What we need to do is, unfortunately for us, is that our defense is playing so well that it's giving us the time for our offense to actually ramp up. But there's certain things that to me are just unacceptable. Like, we have one of the best weapons in the nation in Jatavian Sanders. He cannot have only 3 targets in a game. He can't.
And no catches.
And no catches. You cannot. He's a unicorn for our defense. I mean, for our offense. Sorry, I meant to say. Because he can block now, which is awesome, but he also could hit that little slip pass over the middle over and over again. I don't understand why we haven't just unlocked the cheat code that is Jatavian Sanders.
To your point too, this is something where we may be, I don't know how it's something to just be mindful of early in the game, getting into rhythm. I've noticed a lot of our games will start with some sort of bubble or smoke screen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we'll either do some sort of split zone action, and depending on down and distance, we kind of dictate from there. And early in the game, they'll use Jatavian more on like a bootleg action, kind of short to the flats. They use that concept in the Rice game, and it was incomplete because somebody got in Quinn's face and he just threw it into the dirt. And then we executed it against Alabama. It's different play, same concept though, on 4th and 2, where we hit Jatavian Sanders. Just certain things beyond that though, where we're really just coming out a little bit more aggressive, I would say, to just, I don't know, put forth that confidence that, I'm not asking Quinn to go out there and start threading the needle into double coverage. Let me be clear, okay? But I feel like sometimes we're a little too conservative for the personnel that we do have, and you can blow some of these games open quicker, especially with the way the defense is playing on the other end. You have a really good special teams, and it's a rhythm thing, I feel like, because once they get into the rhythm, Sark is doing a great job in the fourth quarter. I agree with that. A lot of that also is, again, conditioning. We are in great shape. We are wearing on teams at the end of games. We're running the ball better at the end of the game than we are at the beginning of the game. Those are all very, very, very good things, okay? No one is disputing that. But the energy is, again, it's not, when you look at some of the best offenses that are happening in the country right now, somebody brought up Washington, USC. These are teams that are executing their attacks first drive, right? So, they're coming out there like it's a heavyweight fight and, dictating the defense early on. I think sometimes we get so caught up in, oh, they run a 3-3-5, or oh, they run this, or oh, they run that. And it's like, it shouldn't be this spooky type deal where it's like, dog, I have Xavier Worthy and AD Mitchell and Jatavian Sanders How are you dealing with this?
And Jordan Whittington.
And I have a freaking all-world arm back there throwing them the ball. Why? Like some of this stuff, it shouldn't be as complicated as it seems to be, to the point where we're last in the country right now in offensive success rate, and we're number one in the country in defensive
Defensive
success rate.
success rate. It's fun.
No, hey, I get it. I get it. Y'all want to say that the opponents, nobody wants to get up for Wyoming. Wyoming's not a slouch. They're not a bad team either.
Yeah, we
Like I
do
get,
have to
I
give
get where you're coming
Wyoming.
from.
We have to give Wyoming credit.
We do. But at the same token, is that how Lincoln Riley approaches offense?
Mm-mm.
Like, oh, we couldn't like it doesn't matter if they're running the most basic screen or opening with a bubble to Zachariah Branch. They running that thing like they trying to take it for 80. I'm just saying the energy is different, bro. That's all I'm saying. And it's to me, ultimately, it's an energy thing. That's what and exactly. That's why I said sleepwalking. I used the term sleepwalking to describe the video beating Wyoming because offensively they are sleepwalking.
I don't give a shit about that, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be honest with you. We are not good enough to do that. We haven't proven that we're good enough to do that. We need to be locked in. And I don't want to hear this, players only meeting stuff anymore. It's it's enough. Like go out there and compete and execute. That's all it is. The plays are there, the players are there. We just have to do it. We, like I said, once again, we should feel fortunate enough that we finally have a defense that could hold it up while this team starts clicking. Because once this team starts clicking and we have the defense, you're going to start seeing the defense fly around, and you're going to start because teams are going to have to start forcing the ball, like passing the ball and everything like that, and not trying to play keep away from our offense. And you're going to see our players start making plays on the ball. So I just want them to catch up faster. Like we're now a quarter of the way through the season.
Right.
It's time.
Yeah, starting games 0 for 5. I don't care who you're playing. That's bad football. It's not deep, and I don't. And if you're telling me that we went 0 and 5 on third down because brothers weren't getting that hype for Wyoming, you don't have championship mentality.
Yep, true.
You do not have
Truth.
championship mentality, and your ass will get caught.
Truth.
Your ass will get caught because something will happen later in the season where you think we'll turn up when we need to. No, that's not how it works. Okay, and you will get caught if you don't fix it and wake up. Right? We shouldn't be at home at night. All right. Now you go to Waco. And this Baylor team is really good. Is not really good. Excuse me. Let me rephrase. But this is again an opportunity for you to come in here, dominate the opponent, send a message to this conference, and also establish a dominance within your own team. Right? I mean, I've always said the great teams that I've seen in college football, watching over the years, they compete with themselves. Like that Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson team, it's like, bro, I'm trying to win the freaking Bolitnikoff Award. No, you're trying to win. Like they were literally like competing amongst themselves. Like I'm not out here trying to, play down to the competition, so to speak. And the defense isn't really doing that. The
Nope.
defense is out here to dominate, regardless of who is on the other side of the ball. Let's keep that. Let's also be honest there. Like they locked up pretty much after that one run they gave up at the beginning of the Wyoming game. They were back to their normal standard, and that's with them. That's with them not running anything crazy. That's just like if you go back and look at Baron Sorrell on tape, or I was watching the game earlier. Baron Sorrell looked like he was he was going against Bama.
He was firing off the ball. That's what he was
Yeah.
doing.
Look at Janae Barron. Did Janae Barron look like he was chilling, playing against? Like,
He
Is he
looked
going
like a Thorpe.
half-ass?
He looked like a Thorpe Award winner in my eyes that game.
I'm just saying, but because I hate when people use that excuse. Oh, because that you're like, are you trying? Then are you trying to go to the league? Because
Yeah,
if you're serious about going to the league and you tell me you're a first round pick, then you should look like that every single time I put the tape on. Because you never know when an NFL scout's watching you. NFL scout could be right there for the Wyoming game. That's your excuse? Bro, I would have caught that if it was Bama, bro. I would have. Nah, not trying to hear that energy. That's how people get caught. The biggest way to prevent that is to address it when now, right? Now. Because at this point, I'm gonna make a statement, Trent. I'm gonna hand it over to you because I do want to talk about Baylor. At this point, if Texas loses a game, that will be a massive disappointment. With
Mhm.
what we have seen, I don't care who else is left on the schedule. If Texas loses a game, that will be a massive disappointment at this point in terms of the regular season. I'm not talking about postseason play. I'm talking about the remaining 9 games because we know who we're playing at this point. If they lose a game, that will be a massive disappointment based upon what we have seen from them so far. I don't want to hear any more excuses about, oh, we couldn't get up for them or anything like that. You don't have championship mentality. And I know what the records were, Quentin, but we've seen the team play now. So now that we have more data, we got to adjust to the data, in my opinion. Or are we building in levers for an excuse so we feel better as a fan? Is that what we're doing? Are we building in levers to say, well, we said 9-3 or 10-2, so if something happens, oh well. Are we making an excuse? Or are we making an excuse for the future so we feel better? Or are we going to tell the truth based upon what we've seen? There's no excuse.
You know, it's so funny is that we won by 3 touchdowns, and we're still. Well, I'll say 2 touchdowns really because one of them was a pick six, right, by Bug,
Right.
right?
The defense
Yeah,
scored. The defense scored 7. We only scored 3 touchdowns on offense.
yeah. Okay, so, but I'm still. I mean, still, it was a 2 possession game. If we win by 2 possessions for the rest of the season, I'll be happy. I mean, I'll take it all day, every day. But before we dive into Baylor content and everything, can we give you a round of applause for that T-shirt? Hell yeah!
And I love this shirt. Shout out to my wife. She got it for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Man, shout out to Cash Money Records out there. You know what I'm saying?
Lil
Man,
Wayne when he
my
was
man
really Lil
Juvenile
Wayne.
he did a tiny desk recently at NPR. That was one of the best tiny desks we've ever seen. So, yeah. Exactly, Ralph. It's dog mentality. It's dog mentality. I've seen they are better than I thought they would be coming into the season. So I'm holding them to a standard that I think they can believe as a fan. Because at this point, you are going to be a big time favorite in every game you play. Like this Baylor game coming up, they are what, 14 and a half point favorites. And that line is being a little finicky right now because allegedly Baylor may have some more injuries we don't know about. And that's okay because I'm still blind.
Oh, someone posted? Someone posted some still fly.
Still fly, man. Got a quarter tank of gas with the
My
new
new
E.
E class.
Oh man. But that's all right, cause I'm all right. See,
Summa
now
Tuma
y'all got me
tires and
off
they gotta
that.
be run flats. TV where the horn go, boy, can you top that? that was that
Oh
was that was a summer jam in 2002, by the way.
man. School dancers were going crazy back then. Going crazy. Going crazy. Look, I'm saying this again. I know I sound critical. I'm saying this with love. Okay, please see the beginning of the video. I gave them their flowers. I said They are awesome. They are an awesome team. They are an awesome team. But this is how, if you've played sports before, you've been on a team and you've been on a good team, if you've ever had an opportunity to be on a team that's like actually won something at any level, and you've been on a bad team where y'all know y'all bad early in the season, like you're like, damn, it's gonna be a long season. Any sport, you know the conversation, the self-talk is totally different. Lando's here. Lando can validate that. Lando
Mm-hmm.
played up to the pro level. You know when you're on a loaded team full of nothing but dogs and people trying to go somewhere, the way you practice is different.
Mm-hmm.
Practices be like fights, right? But then when you're on a bad team, it's like people you're trying to make sure people are at practice. So you hold the way you talk about things is very different. And I feel as though this team has uh, potential championship aspirations.
I agree. I think that I think college football this year is wide open. To tell you the truth, you just got to hit at the right time, and that's what I'm saying. I want these kids to start clicking because those plays are there. We just got to hit on them.
So I want to talk about Baylor. They're coming to this game 1-2. Their one win was was your homeboys, Trey. It was
I
your
told you this
people.
when you and I were talking. It's like I have never heard of Long Island University of whatever it was. I was like,
LIU.
I have never heard of that. I grew up out there. It's like, I must not be a real school. So
Man, that's great. That's funny.
they threw for a nice 41 yards that whole game.
Hey, but 35 of those yards was
Came
the
in one foot.
man.
Sidearm.
That guy threw the sidearm from his hip like a gun, like he was Wyatt Earp. Doc Holliday out there flinging that thing, bro. And that was that's their one win though. Was somehow I guess they found him on LinkedIn or whatever, and were able to schedule Long Island and get some money over there. I've no Long Island hoops is no joke. They got a great hoops program. I know a few brothers that I went to high school with that played at Long Island. In terms of basketball, they actually played North Carolina in the NCAA tournament not that long ago. But but I had no idea they had a basketball program or a football program. Yeah, yeah. No,
I
I
didn't
mean,
look at it.
how do these schools do business with each other or find each other? I just assume it happened on LinkedIn. Like, how does Baylor contact Long Island University to even get a game?
Like I could
Because we
understand
don't
if it
schedule
was like
games like
Stony
that.
Brook. I could understand if it was like Stony Brook University because they actually have a kind of up and up program on the East Coast. They're not going to be anything great, but they're a bigger name than Long Island University.
Mm. I found that interesting. So they were favored by 44 points in that game. They won 30-7. And, we know Baylor took a L to Texas State to open the year. Shout out to GJ Kinney, by the way, and what he's done for this Texas State Bobcats. If Jimmy Johnson's out there watching, this is the one time where we're going to give Texas State their flowers so
I
far.
give Texas State nothing.
Dude, they brought in 56 transfers, including TJ Finley. The Texas State's looking good. They're looking good for where that program has been. And they go into Waco and they beat Baylor. What's funny though is when I was talking to Jim, because I saw him at a baseball game a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about Baylor, and the first thing he said was, Baylor is gonna like the Baylor we played and the Baylor y'all will see or will be two different teams because that's how it is. Like they're gonna have that's gonna be their Super Bowl
Yeah,
especially
of
to open
course.
the Big 12.
Every
So
Big 12 team that's playing us, we're their Super Bowl. OU and us, we're their Super Bowl. They want to be all
well,
other.
OU's different. OU's different because I throw that out because were each other's main rival, and
No.
that game,
I'm talking about every team that
everybody but
plays.
OU. I would.
No, I'm talking about everyone who plays OU too in the Big 12.
I'm sorry.
It's Texas and OU. Those are the everyone in the Big 12 want to beat us both.
And it'll be, with this Baylor team coming in, the Utah game was interesting. Um, they they have this their backup quarterback situation. Really, a lot of some of their weapon. I mean, Kuthi and some of the main Utah guys that are just now starting to come back. Honestly, um, and they were in there down to the wire. Baylor was very physical in that game. Um, but one thing a couple things I noticed, and I've noticed with Baylor all year on film, the lack of vertical explosiveness from this team that they used to have almost at least one burner every year. One guy that was just like, man, you got to watch out. He's a 4.2 guy, like that type of track speed that they had started getting. I'm not seeing that from this Baylor team. And with them not having Blake Shapen there, who was like a mid-level Big 12 quarterback, Sawyer Robertson has been struggling. I mean, there's no other way to phrase this. Since the Shapen injury, um, he's been a liability for Baylor, I would say. And I think that's somebody who, as we're talking here, we can take advantage. But I would not be surprised if Dave Aranda and that staff doesn't turn to the backup quarterback, the backup quarterback, that transfer, I think the JUCO transfer, RJ Martinez, who has had a lot of at least college snaps. I don't. It's like the Wyoming thing last week. A lot of these, like, we'll see. Somebody can be struggling for weeks, and everybody else will get to see that player, and then they always decide to make the switch against Texas. Now, for the Wyoming thing, it was different. They wanted to keep their starting quarterback good to go for conference play, which I understand. But the thing is, we always get the different look. We're always the team that gets the different look that nobody else got. And so I expect Baylor to have some sort of curveball and not just try to drop back pass with Sawyer Robertson. Kind of similar to, like, he's like Davis Bevel bad. That's what I'm saying. If I can make this more explicitly clear, he's like Davis Bevel bad, where OU knew how bad Davis Bevel was, and that's why you could tell OU knew that in practice, which is why they had all those other people running quarterback wildcat plays. Whenever somebody installs that many plays for other people, that can tell you the coach had no faith that the quarterback could run the whole game plan.
Oh shit.
That's just my opinion. Am I wrong on that,
No,
chat?
you're not. You are not wrong.
I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to. I'm just going by what I see. Just my eye. I think he's that bad. I think he's bad. I'm not. I like their backs. Dominic Richardson scored 3 touchdowns against us in the Oklahoma State game last year when he was on the Cowboys. Richard Reese is a good young back. They can run the ball. Those two. So there are players we got to defend. I'm not saying that the whole team is ass. I'm just saying that quarterback reminds me he's Davis Bevel level bad. That's all I'm saying, in my opinion. Quentin sees the vision. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Yeah, no, Baylor. I mean, you think about the guys that Baylor's had, the Colemans, and this is this is probably when it's
Bryles.
more like Browse era. But even Matt Rule had
Rule had some players.
Yeah, Rule had Tyquan Thornton, who goes to the thing and runs a 4.2 something, right? And um, always these guys that just knew how to get behind the defense. Um, let's see here. Coaches get extensions for beating Texas.
I mean, it's funny because it's true, though.
Yeah. Coach Aranda was talking about complimented his quarterback on his ping pong play. Yeah, don't let bad teams stay in the game. Right now, Baylor's not a good football team. They've lost before the Long Island game. They've lost like 4 or 5 games in a row. That includes us, where we literally because we played them at the end of last season. And Tran, you were at the game.
Yep.
At the end of the game, Sark basically put the playbook down and was just like, "Nah, run that bitch down their throat."
Yeah.
Sorry, nah,
Bijan, go off.
yeah,
Bijan, Roshan, go off.
and we literally were just mobbing them off the ball, bro. I do expect us to run the football a lot against their defense. Jaquindon Jackson had a good game, a really really good game against them, especially finishing the game, physical runs, punishing their defense. They don't have the same type of linebackers that they've had. Some of the linebackers that Baylor's had over the years, I've been envious of how good those guys were. Right, the Terrell Bernards
Mm-hmm.
world, and even five that was there. Was it Dylan Doyle or
Yeah.
whatever his name was? Um,
We were huge on Terrell.
those were really good play. Like I don't see, but I don't like they're good. They're because and it's Aranda, and I'm gonna respect that, and I'm gonna and I don't think their DBs are necessarily bad. I really don't. Um, I'm just looking at this more from a physicality standpoint and wearing them down. I think this Cedric Baxter being back is huge. I think with Cedric Baxter being back, if he's running with the physicality that he ran with in Tuscaloosa, that's going to be an issue.
With
And then you
Jonathan
combine
Brooks.
that with
Yeah.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Brooks, yes, who had
Coming
a
off of a
career day last week.
confidence building day. Confidence building day. That's what it was for him. So I mean, I'm with you. You don't play with teams that shouldn't be playing with you. You know, just go out there, beat them, execute. Like I said, let's move on to Kansas.
Quinn said Aranda will be Alabama's DC next year.
Oh, that that would be a great pickup for
Hey, Jan said
Alabama.
I'm cool with that, bro. Are you already out on Kevin Steele? Don't say it ain't so. I feel like Alabama's defense hasn't been the issue this year, though. That's just me.
No, I don't think
Um,
they should. I don't think they should have benched Milrow. Are they playing him this week?
yeah, Milrow got his job back. They gave him his flowers. Nick Saban said he's our
Well, he
guy
wasn't
no
that
matter what.
bad. Well, he wasn't that bad.
We promised. They had a statement saying that um, they had promised all three guys that they would play, and so that was them. That was them. The South Florida game was them adhering to the promise they gave the quarterbacks. But now that they're going to conference play, they're going back to Milrow. We've heard so many different things out of Alabama's camp and PR. Now, where I still think where I still think it's interesting is if they go out and they're still dominant in the SEC West, then we'll look back at this as hey, that was just something to kind of get Jalen going and motivate him. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I still think that defense is really good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they don't have. Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, they don't. They don't unless somebody just comes out of nowhere and plays out of their mind. Now, there's kids on Baylor I like defensively. TJ Franklin, I think he can play on Sundays. He's a good defensive. He's been in the conference for a while. Byron Bonds, who used to be with
Mm-hmm.
us, I think he's one of their leading guys in sacks, and was getting active last week against Long Island and stuff. And Byron had a nice career at Utah State as well, and got his career on track. So I think they have some guys that on certain downs and plays can give issues that are good football players. This isn't just like it's not the Baylor from the mid 2000s. I'm not saying that at all. Dave Aranda's still coaching that defense, but I mean, don't especially being on the road again. This is where I'm interested. Playing a team that's not very good but in a potentially hostile environment. How does Texas handle that? Because we haven't been in that situation yet with this group. Going to Bama, everybody's 100% engaged on everybody that's a prime time spot. But with this Baylor game, you're like, because as a player, Trey, you're watching the film and you know Baylor over the years, especially if you've been on the team for a few years. You're like, you got to be saying, it's like, this team's not like, they're not buttoned up there. They're making those kind of mistakes. They can't block that. This quarterback who throws the ball very aggressively downfield, he's just not very good. Like
Yep.
if I'm Bug, I'm like, I'm picking that. Right? Or if I'm Jalen Catalon, I'm like, we're not. There's no way we're allowing that happen. That whatever concept they're running right there, we're not going to allow that to develop. I feel like you're pretty confident, but
Yeah.
confident in a way of like, we're going to go out there and make a lot of plays on
On
Saturday.
defense. On defense. I mean, you should be that way on offense, but I mean, they don't have anything to look forward to. Like, just to say that we could just walk in there, waltz in there, and just like, hey, all right, it's time to dominate. But
Well, if
until
you
we see,
turn this guy over, Trey, you'll have an opportunity to hit some short fields,
yeah,
which Texas has also struggled with a little bit too. Especially when they've had some short fields before earlier in the season. I just want to see them click a little bit more. That's all.
I just want to put the doubt in their mind early. That's what like into their team's mind. Like if you go up 14-0 on this team, like right out the gate, do you think that that's going to cast a lot of doubt in their mind? I know it's a long ass game and 2 possessions is pretty easy to come back from in college, but doesn't that just like, oh man, if they're just that dominant against them, it does wear on your mental.
That's good. That's a good point. That's a good point. And it being a situation where, I mean, Texas can do what they want to do. That's the way I look at it. I keep saying it. I'm going to continue to say it. Texas' biggest opponent is Texas. And if Texas could come out here, like you said, just be dominant from early, say, you know what, we're not even gonna let it in the office and come out and say, you know what, any opportunities we get, let's just execute, guys. Guys are complaining. Y'all, some people are complaining about not playing enough, or they need to get the ball more, or they want to be on the field more. Hey, if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll have more snaps on offense. You know how you get more snaps on offense, by the way? Handle your business early in the game and you don't go 3 and out. I like people talk about snap count as if the opponent is the one that dictates everything about snap count. When that's not, it takes 2 people to play the snap count game. So when we talk about, oh, yes, Wyoming coaches did, Craig Bowl did a good, he did exactly what any good coach would do in his situation. Try to shorten the game. It's a tight game in the third quarter. We're going to take our time. We're going to run that clock where we'll hit here, we'll hit there, but we're trying to slow this thing down in terms of pace, but also absorb that clock so Texas doesn't have the football. I agree with that strategy. However, the reason why he's in that strategy is because the game was tied in the third quarter. If you're up early, and I know this is kind of taking us back to last year, if you're up early, at least you get to dictate how people are going to play against you. Right? And if you're up early, that gives you an opportunity to get turnovers. That gives you an opportunity to make them go 3 and out. They're now having to rush because they need the clock. And so, in essence, you're going to run more plays. So, we shouldn't be in a situation where we're complaining about offensively, we only got to run 52 plays today. Don't start the game 0 for 5 on third down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you run out of plays.
Like I said earlier, it just all comes down to execution, like you were saying. You just got to execute. Got to execute.
Yeah, Wyoming had the ball. Yeah, the time of possession was crazy, but that's our fault too. We got to own some of that. Yes, it's strategy by the opponent. It's strategy, but when you BS for the first, it's like we chilling, blah, blah, blah. And it's like then all of a sudden we got brothers in the locker room. We're like, bro, I played 3 snaps. I didn't even get a target.
And
And it's
by the
like, yeah, your boys didn't handle their business early to get you in the game. Like I'm just calling a spade a spade.
yeah, and but also by the way, that 36 minutes is a little like fool's gold in my eyes because we had that quick hitter from Xavier Worthy, busted it for a touchdown. And then we had that huge run from Jonathan Brooks where we scored 2 plays later. So I
Right.
mean that and
So
then
even when we scored, it was fast.
yeah, when we scored it was fast. So it was like two quick possessions where we just gave the ball right back to them, and then we didn't go 3 and out with them. So we allowed them to drive a little bit, and then we stopped them. So I mean, it's a little bit. It was probably if you break it down, the time of possession was probably a lot more even than that.
I don't think so. Did we kick the field goal? No. Alabama game? No, we punted. We punted. We scored in our second possession in the Alabama game. Um, so the answer is no. All right. Did we score? We didn't score on our first possession against Wyoming, did we? Or we went? Did we go? No, I got to go back and check
Kick
just
a
to make
field
sure.
goal.
I'm making sure we're not spreading misinformation. Was that the first or second drive when touch? No, we punted. We punted on our first drive.
Yeah, they scored on their first possession.
Yeah, we punted. We scored on our second possession against Wyoming. So, hey, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's come out here and get points. Come out here and just. That's my only thing with Texas right now, cleaning that stuff up, right, and getting to where they need to be. And people and guys are trying to be showcased, right? It's supposed to be a mutually beneficial relationship, right? We're winning football games and guys are looking good. I mean, this also matters for recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're over here trying to pitch Ryan Wingo. It's hard to pitch something. Now it's great when we're winning, right? So that's number one. I want people who want to be with winners. But let's add a little spice to the offense to make sure brothers are getting fed. That's all I'm saying. Ryan Wingo's not trying to come to the game to see D tackles catch touchdown passes. We're trying to see people eat, man. No disrespect. That was a great play. I'm happy for Byron Murphy. Very happy. All right. But I don't want my D tackle, my all world D tackle getting more love than my all
All
world tight
world
end.
tight end. Maybe later on in the game. Maybe later on in the game, but you don't do that.
But guys want to get fed, man. Yeah. Get points early, help out your defense. Now the defense, I want to see this defense have an opportunity to play with a big lead.
Yeah, pin their ears back, let them
Yeah,
go.
they'll get to. I mean, shoot, that's where you start to get more sacks, interceptions.
Picks, yeah. Possibly blown coverages. Knock it off.
Missouri receivers torch K-State. Now Missouri receivers look good. There's not look Luther Burden. He's one of the best in the business. Theo Weiss is healthy. Missouri receivers. Um, that was an impressive win for them. And I will say this: I still look at Kansas State as a good team. I'm not saying that they expose K State or anything like that, but the Missouri receivers, they're gonna have a couple guys that are gonna be playing on Sundays.
What'd I say? That makes me cold.
General, man.
I talk a lot of shit, so I forget stuff.
Um, let's see. What else do we want to cover um, during the live show prep, Fran? As folks are watching this probably tomorrow, getting ready for the game, um, things they want to see. Any breakout players? I'll start with one. Tomorrow, Cedric Baxter will have his first 100-yard rushing game as a Texas Longhorn, first of many. There you go. That's what I'm starting off with. I think this is a game, the opportunity, kind of picking up where we left off last year against Baylor, and really where we were last week with Jonathan Brooks. I think Cedric Baxter is going to come back. That rest. I think he's going to have a big day tomorrow night. What say you? Who are some guys,
So
individuals you're looking at?
on offense, with that said, I think Jatavian Sanders is going to have over 65 yards receiving. Um, and on defense, I think that Jalen Ford will have an interception. Jalen
Sam?
honestly should have 2 interceptions right now, and I bet you he's kicking himself for dropping that one in the Bama game. So
I want to see Jalen, who's having a good year. I want to see him have a Jade Barron type game where we look dominant, right? Jade looked dominant in that Wyoming game on defense. He was everywhere. Jalen's been chilling too because he's been able to sub and really because of our depth, we haven't had to put a whole bunch of wear and tear on him snap wise. But I do want to see Jalen, tighten up a little bit in the run area. Um, and some of the spillage that's happened. Not that he's been bad, but he can be better. Um, inside zone in general against us, I thought we were really, really, really good against inside runs last year. We've been a little susceptible to that so far early this year in all 3 games, really. But overall, and this is where Baylor's might be screwed, they've always been that outside zone type team where they allow their guys to cut back and just be dynamic. That's where we fly. We're really good at that stuff. And our team speed is even better.
Mm-hmm.
So us getting under blocks and getting off stuff, like I don't worry about outside zone. We've been really buttoned up, and I haven't been able to say that about Texas defense in a long time. But inside, I think we've been very, very good, but we haven't reached what we were last year with Coburn and Ojimo from an inside run perspective. So if we can button that up a little bit, that's very nitpicky. Obviously, the pass coverage has been good, and the biggest improvement is our pass rush. Our pass rush has been dynamic this season, and that's where I think Sawyer Robertson's going to have a very long day. Tran, when you already have questionable accuracy, and then you start getting heat up, and we're not even sending pressure like that,
Yeah.
but we're getting pressure.
With 4?
I see opportunity, sir. Like you said, with Jalen Ford getting a pick this week.
I don't know. He just had
Right?
he just has this.
We're gonna have 200-yard receivers. Let me look at the chat. Let's see what.
2 100-yard receivers. I'm assuming one of them's Worthy. Who's the other?
Could be AD. Could be JT. Could
Yeah.
be Jay Witt. I want to see. We talked about the receivers this week and rotations and all that. Look, I want to see more Jonte Cook, but hey, Jonte, when we get in the game, let's catch that bubble screen,
Yeah.
baby.
Can't drop that.
Yeah, let's. Hey, I'm lobbying to get you more snaps, brother, but we got to catch the easy ones when we get in there. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a fine line. Here's the other issue with the receiver rotation that people need to wake up and see as well. We're not great out of 11 personnel. we're making our money out of 12 and 21 personnel this year. So until we're playing better football out of 11 personnel, we're not going to have multiple receivers on the field like that. Gunnar Helm's going to continue to be on the field. Malik Agbo is going to continue to be on the field. The second back, whether it's Keelan, Brooks, or Blue, or whoever, is going to be on the field, taking up another receiver spot. Because hey, if we're going to be in 11 personnel, you guys have to run block. Because the coaches don't want to tip their hand when you guys are in the game. And I'm not saying the run blocking issues have always been out of 11 personnel. I've watched AD and them miss blocks when we were in our condensed set on a jumbo package, and that guy still makes the tackle. So I'm not saying it's just that. But it's obvious, like our bunches and all that type of stuff, when we've thrown it, right? Somebody's missing a block on the perimeter. And it's like, well, what's the point of me having 3 receivers on the field? That's what the coaches are saying. So we have to be better out of that personnel group to get guys more opportunities as well. Or else they're going to continue to play 2 receivers only. And I know how frustrating that is for the rest of the group.
It shouldn't be frustrating. That's a championship mentality. You got to be
balanced. Yeah, we got to do what's best for us to win.
Yeah.
I get it. It's not sexy like y'all want it to be.
Yeah.
But if you don't execute and we're better out of this personnel package, then so be it. If I got to keep double tights out there at all times, if I got to have split back out there at all times, I got to have my extra, my extra jumbo tight end and Agbo, because that's we per play we execute better than sorry. But I want to showcase you guys. Dude, I want to be a 11 personnel RPO offense, high flying with Jatavian Cooking. That would look sexy as hell. And I think that's what a lot of us thought we were going to kind of see this year. And we've seen Sark do this. Sark did it with Tua, specifically in 2019. When people talk about him spreading it out to all those receivers, the way they were able to do that, they were able to stay on the field in 11 a lot with Waddle and Ruggs and Judy and those guys. And Devontae Smith. But if they weren't going to execute half the time, Sark had no problem putting Billingsley and the other tight ends back in the game. If you're not going to do what I'm not going to do, then y'all not going to be on the field together. I agree. We do have that flexibility. But it's more so from a standpoint of trying to get some of these other guys opportunities if we're going to have this type of depth to get them opportunities to cook as well. Because here's the thing, anything can happen. God forbid, we target Worthy like crazy still. God forbid something happens to him. Yeah, I know we have guys that can step up, but I'd like to at least have the confidence to know that, oh yeah, some guys, they came out here and got active. They had 7 catches for $120 and a touchdown the other day. I know he can step up and do that. You'd like to, it's kind of like basketball. You want to see the ball go in still, right? Especially if you're a type of guy that your skill set is a scorer, you want to see the ball go in still. So God forbid something happens to one of our guys, something happened to AD or some of the guys that are heavily targeted. I still want those other guys to have reps against live bullets. And again, because the next thing that will happen is the excuse will get made of Quinn. Oh, Quinn can't cook because he doesn't have that rapport with this receiver.
Well, it doesn't have the rapport with these receivers.
And I'm like, well, let's avoid these things. Again, these are nitpicky things, but these are things I'm concerned about if we're trying to get to where we want to go.
What's up, Surfer Boy?
What's up, Surfer Boy? Yeah, we're doing a Friday night live here, man. Good times, baby. Good times. 143 here in the chat. Hit that like button for us. Sub up to the channel. We appreciate it. Quentin, thank you, sir. Thank you as always. What's he doing? Trying too cold, man. Sanders is always looking downfield, not the ball. Eh, sometimes, but sometimes we're not reading the coverage the same. Sometimes it's JT's fault. Sometimes it's the quarterback fault. I would say that's more of a team issue, a team challenge that I from what I've seen. So, Tran, what's your prediction? Quinn's got it 45-10 Texas. Texas right now, depending on where you're looking, because the sports books are a little kind of. It looks like Texas though on ESPN at least is minus 14 and a half. Over under is 49 points. What say you, sir?
I have it under 49 points. I have it 27-10. I like the 10 on that. Our defense has proven that we can hold teams out of the end zone and hold them to field goals. So I'm happy with it. What about you? We were actually on the phone earlier today. Well, not yesterday, right? Trying to
Yeah,
figure out
yesterday.
what games we were trying to figure out what we were going to.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
That's
I
funny.
really, I really want to get to the Kansas game. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And at this point, the OU tickets are
Ridiculous.
through the moon. So unless somebody has a plug, I'm probably, I'm probably, I don't TBD on OU.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go to the TCU game, which is in Fort Worth. The next time I'm in Austin, I'm probably going to come to the Texas Tech game after Thanksgiving, just because I got to be there for the vibes. That's going to be that's going to be nasty business, no matter what happens that Friday. I got to be there for that. Um, Everything else is TBD right now, but I'll definitely be at the TCU game and the
Yeah,
Tech game.
I'm trying to make it up to the TCU game as well. Yeah, I was one of those. So I didn't go all out on my on listing my OU tickets. Like some people are. It's some people are doing highway robbery for that. I didn't do that, but I did sell them. I sold mine. It's my son's birthday, so I have to do a dad thing. Never got that haircut. Oh, y'all.
I got cooked the other night. Now they talking about me.
Yeah.
I got
No,
cooked the other night on what you call on
SEC.
On the SEC Connect. By the way, as Jay's in here and a few others,
Yeah.
please go subscribe right now to the SEC Connect. Yeah, man, I got cooked bad. Hair is not cut, but I do have a hat now. That's why this joint is to the brim. If you get, but I will. Brothers are gonna be looking sharp come next week. We're gonna have to get right. But my beard, I did put, I did get my beard oil. I'm feeling a lot better. So you don't know how much money I have, Marlon. I You don't
Too much
know.
money not to have a fresh mate.
Dog. I be out in these streets, bro. Starving. Marlon, we need to get up soon, man. Um, a dumbbell. You're expecting. You said Mark. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Y'all are funny.
This is thank you for the donation. It's kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I'm actually expecting, this is me personally. I'm expecting Texas to run the ball quite a bit, and some of these defenses, people want at some point, yeah, you're going to have to punish people physically if they're going to have that many DBs on the field. That's just football at that
Mhm.
point. But I do want to see Quinn look sharp, and meaning, laying his throws, taking what the defense is giving him, being patient when there's only a 3-man rush, and navigating, and also moving around and being a little bit of a playmaker. These defenses, by the way, have trouble against people that can extend plays, because then that zone, as tricky as it may be pre-snap and after the ball snap, the first few seconds, when you have 9 people in coverage, they're still covering for a long time.
Mhm.
And with our guys, you should be able to, you know,
Find some open space. Yeah.
right, with our offensive line, our guys. So that's why I'm still like, and the other thing too is there are beaters for this defense. For example, you can there's multiple concepts you can run. You can run split field concepts and say, all right, we're gonna cut this shit in half. And this guy, we're just gonna focus to put them in a bind over here, but we're gonna run a completely different concept to the other side of the field,
Mhm.
or motion somebody over to move the numbers. But I'm going to give myself a type of bind read on this side of the field, whether it's to the boundary or the field, however you want to do it. But you can do split field. You can do things like you do against quarters, right? Where you're more so trying to isolate a guy in his particular zone, which is what we both Alabama and Texas did to one another. Granted, it wasn't 3 high; it was a different concept, but they isolated Burton on Bug and turned that into a dead sprint for a deep ball. We isolated Worthy on Caleb Downs. Bama actually was in quarters coverage on that particular play, but we're running that deep over with Jonte Cook, and we're making somebody make a decision on, hey, you got to come down and cover that crosser, bro. And now it's only one safety back there.
Mhm.
So you can do conceptual things to isolate people, to put a particular player in a bind. I am not back here saying we need to be throwing the ball into triple coverage. But we know, dude, if you go back and watch the Iowa State game 2 years ago when Hudson Card had to come in, we were missing Xavier Worthy running 50 yards down the field wide open. That was schemed up. We just didn't execute the throw. Hudson Card overthrew it. That's 2 years ago against people. Yes, there's patience. You're not going to get shots every single play. Thank you, sir. It's eye candy, and it makes you hesitate. But if you understand how you're trying to attack something, this is also why you can't run 3 high in the NFL like that.
You can, but you're gonna get
NFL
cooked.
quarterbacks are like,
Yeah,
so what?
yeah, yeah. This is fun. This is fun to me.
No pressure.
Yeah, great.
So that's another thing. If you're an NFL guy, right, and people are giving you that kind of look, it's like, well, if my O line holds up, we straight. Run that shit all game, bro. I'll layer the ball wherever I need to. I see all of you. What messes up NFL quarterbacks is pressure up the middle and stuff they don't see. Real good disguises. So I agree with this. They have to figure that. But the thing is, the way Iowa State does it, and some of the really good 3-3-5 teams, is they have a way of disrupting Sark's play. How he's reading the game, and it can twist him a little bit. So But I think from a player standpoint,
Just run the ball. The
well,
box
yeah,
is run the ball right down their throat until they stop it. Then you can take your play actions on them. Run the ball. Smack them in the face. Exert your will. Run the damn ball. Like it's you man on man. Outman this guy. You are outnumbering people. Go do it. Oh, don't get too cute. Just go out there and dominate.
Quinton.
I disagree with that. Lincoln Riley had a lot of trouble with what was it? I think that I honestly think that what's his name Lincoln Riley had a lot of trouble with uh, not Matt Rule but Matt Campbell's defense. Didn't they beat him like 3 years in a row? Slowed him down.
But they were still scoring in the 30s in those games though. I know what you're
Well,
saying. Like they had like some of those games are still like 35, 38, 35 though.
yeah,
Uh,
but they were averaging like 50 a game though. I mean, you still hold the team to 35 points when they're averaging 50. That's a win in my book.
hey, but your boy said it here. Lincoln just stayed balanced in those games.
Yeah.
He still ran his GT counter,
Hmm.
right? He still matched up his. That's one thing if you see Lincoln really out of sorts is when he becomes one sided towards the quarterback.
Yeah.
He's gonna do even with Caleb at USC with the different backs that they've had. They will run the ball right and try to keep it. He wants to keep that look honest. Marlon said GT counter top three play. Dog, tell me about it. They ran GT counter on us until we freaking tapped out in 2021. Goodness, with Kennedy Brooks. God damn. Uh, the same play. We were doing same side counter, GT counter,
Yeah.
a lot against Bama, which was interesting. But the way Lincoln does the way they were doing theirs back in the day, especially with, whew, that's a that was OU's bread and butter play for sure. I agree with this. I agree with this. But those Washington receivers,
Mm-hmm.
they don't give a shit about this look. Because some of those teams in the Pac-12 run this. They don't give.
They
But
have to run
Washington
it against
moving.
that team, though, man. That team's dangerous. Like they're quietly what are they seventh, ranked seventh in the nation? Very quietly.
Marlon, I have a question for you. Why are you? Uh, are you? In all seriousness, all right. What were your thoughts about Quinn in the Alabama game? How do you think Quinn performed in that game? Because I understand where you're frustrated with his consistency, but but you're saying two more games than what? Are you saying that's when we play OU and he's gonna? Because Marlon and some people out here, I'm not. Let me not put words in Marlon's mouth. I'll let him type for himself. But there's people out here, and Quinn. These are the next allegations that Quinn will need to survive. There's people out here that believe that Quinn only shows up for the big games and that he does not give a shit about these other teams. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, but there are people that are like, hey, this guy, like, yeah, when the lights are on, and it's, which is great, right? We've also had people that are the other way around, and that's really tough to deal with as a fan. But they're like, yeah, he gets lazy or he doesn't really care against those type of teams. Legacy game versus Bama.
You got
I don't.
in my eyes, you have to do something to have a legacy. One game does not create a legacy. I'm serious. If we go to the Big 12 championship and win the Big 12, yeah, that would be a legacy game in my eyes. And he's just an okay quarterback throughout. I'm just the QB coach just a second.
Yeah, if you guys
Mm-hmm.
I follow several of them. I think QB school, JT Sullivan is one of the best ones out there. Uh, and I agree with what Quentin's saying. From an NFL quarterback, JT Sullivan is a guy who's an NFL quarterback. Kurt Warner does a good job when I feel as though he's not as emotionally invested. And sometimes he get a little fired up. Um, Dan Orlovsky, if he's not talking about the Cowboys, is pretty good. When he's talking about some of these guys, when they talk about they lose all their objectivity skews their analysis. QB school's good though. I don't see him being like a fanboy about certain teams or being like, oh, I hate. Like he has his opinions about concepts, right? Like you'll see some guys that you can kind of tell their opinions can kind of be based on the scheme they grew up in. And I'm sure defensive guys like yourself, Tran, feel the same way. Like some defensive guys, if you grew up, let's say you grew up playing your high school team and college team and all this, like y'all played Tampa 2 style defense, like that's how you roll, or you grew up playing man, or you grew up playing a 3-4 type look, and you've always been used to a 3-4, like that's what you run in Madden, all that. Like you're just some people are going to be biased towards certain things versus others. Like I personally prefer this. I think quarterbacks are the very same way, whether they came from more of a West Coast type scheme, where they came from more of a Coryell vertical type scheme, or they came from air raid or whatever. But when you watch them do their analysis, it's so obvious that they see the game in a very, very different way, and it's very educational. Um, so go check that out. He does a lot of different quarterbacks, not just Quinn.
To answer your question, I'm all about man. I'm all about man. Man up, get that attitude. I've been trying to incorporate that into our kids, just to get an attitude with it. I don't care. Like I've even told them, I don't care if you get a pass interference flag. I want y'all to be physical against everyone. So I'm trying.
I love it.
I'm trying to instill that confidence and that the irrational confidence in them. No,
Receivers definitely got to be on.
it's a combination, man. Yeah, the receivers have dropped a lot of passes, but I've also seen Quinn miss some pretty bad balls that should be just easy 7 yard outs, 7 yard completions, things like that. So I mean, it's like I said, that the offense isn't clicking right now, and I think, like I said, the plays have been there. Once we start clicking, we are a dangerous team.
Eric, at this point, it would be to get injured because, I mean, Quinn right now, whether you like Quinn or not, he's a Heisman candidate right now because of the Bama game. So he's not going anywhere. Also, we have to understand Malik has no experience. So we'd be putting somebody in where it's like, we're kind of having to learn. Now, I'm not saying that Malik won't come in and ball out and be incredible or anything like that. I'm just saying for what we do, experience seems to matter. I think Quinn, for however you feel about Quinn, is playing noticeably better football than he played in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
He has not turned the ball over yet this year.
Knock on wood. Right now,
He's actually, red area. He's sneakily getting away with rushing touchdowns all of a sudden.
oh man, if I'm
So,
Jonathan Brooks, I'm like, bro, gain your 20 pounds back so I could actually get these these runs in. Like you steal, you're scavenging my touchdown runs. It's garbage, man. Unathletically falling into the end zone over and over again.
Jacob said, "Man, what a different yeah." We can't, yeah, guys. That's the thing. We can't just like take people out. It's a fair question, but we can't do that. We can't just switch dudes in and out at those positions. Um, y'all talk about it like we're rotating the right guard. Like, this is
But also these are the same people that wanted us to play the quarterback carousel with Casey Thompson and Hudson Card, right? Once Hudson Card got knocked out, everyone was wanting Casey Thompson in before Hudson Card got knocked out. Casey Thompson comes in, has one good game, and then starts messing up. Everyone's like, "Oh, Hudson Card should be playing right now." You know what I'm saying? It's like it's going back and forth. It's like because if Malik starts having one bad game, everyone's gonna be like, you should be really playing. So I mean, we're winning right now, and like you said, he's taking care of the ball. We're just not clicking as an offense yet. It's still early in the season, and good thing for us is we're winning. So want to see it. Want to
those
see
are
us
the
get better.
best. Those are really two strong traits we can say about our offense so far. As a whole, I mean, I think the Jaden Blue fumble was the first live ball turnover we had this year, if I'm not mistaken. Was the Blue fumble at the end of the Wyoming game? But other than that, we don't have a turnover. Um, I'm not counting now. If you want to count turnover on downs, that's been an issue.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually turning the football over, no.
Uh,
So they're really good at that. They've been also really good at in the fourth quarter, right? The most important quarter of the game, finishing the game. They have finished every football game with a crazy intense purpose on offense. So those would be the two most positive things I can say about the. They hit a couple deep balls in the Bama game. Now they didn't even try to get the deep balls off against Wyoming, but we also want to see them hit on those consistently. I think that will also make people feel better if we hit on a few more deep shots and stuff. But
we had another over 50-yard touchdown again, right? With Xavier Worthy making a move last game. So there's two in a row, 2 games in a row.
was that 50?
I don't know.
50
I,
yards?
I I could be speaking out of my ass, honestly.
It was 44.
44. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm rounding. It's a
What's
terrible
it
round
going to
error.
take for Quinn to get a pass over 50 yards?
What's it going to take?
Or what no. The Jatavian Sanders catch in the Bama game is Quinn's technically the Jatavian Sanders catch and run has overcome the host of 49-yard passes that Quinn has completed in his career.
Yeah.
I need to see. You know what? I think what's funny is that when Quinn first got here in that spring game, he had a freaking 60-yard
Yeah.
pass to Nair that
Nair.
had air yards. It looked perfect, and we haven't seen it since in terms of that type of distance. Like that, people forget that ball that he threw to Nair. If y'all remember the spring game last year, that bitch went 60 yards. It was a 62-yard play. So we
It
haven't
was a
had a long play like
scripted.
that.
It was a scripted scrimmage. That's to make everyone get excited about the season. Everyone,
I know. I know.
but he hit on it.
No. It's just
No,
that they executed that one perfectly. I know.
it wasn't like, hey, we got to get the fans cheering for this one real quick. Hold on, hold on. One thing I am, and I told you about this when I was talking to you on the phone, is like I am a little bit worried about how the way we're protecting the ball. For some reason, it just doesn't look like the 3 points of contact when we're rushing the ball. There was even one where Xavier Worthy accepted that punt, and for some reason, he tried to while someone was holding onto his leg, tried to leap over someone else with the ball in the air like this. I'm like, that we need to protect that. And I'm just worried that there's going to be like one weird game where the ball does not fall our way. Like we fumbled 3 times. I think it was in the Alabama game. We just were on the ball there. I mean, the
No,
game could be different.
and we're gonna have those moments. Let's just go ahead and say that right now. This isn't gonna be all roses and everything's going to be perfect as I would like for it to be. Lord knows my blood pressure would be better. But we're going to have some challenge. We're going to have a quarter or somewhere somebody pokes the ball out or
But why?
um, why?
Why
The
though?
good
I
thing
don't
is
want that shit.
they actually respond well though when bad shit happens. Still, like they don't. It's gonna happen because they're college kids, and that's and they respond better. I mean, but look at Bug last game on defense. Bug was struggling, and then he gets a pick six. Keep your head. And now Bug wasn't struggling every play. I mean, Bug was struggling with elements of speed, where you see it's more of like a struggle of limitation, not of knowing what to do, of him physically not being able to get there. Is what I mean. But when he's able to anticipate something, very few guys in college football right now that can read what the hell offense is doing conceptually quicker than Bug can. He's a super brain back there. So, you know, maybe Jalen Catalan makes some noise this game. I started seeing him get a little bit more active in the Wyoming game too.
Maybe the youth movement starts balling out some more.
I'm not gonna. You're right, Ed. He does. It just is what it is. It's still he still knows where the hell he's going. um, I think we'll see Nair this week. I think we will. They know he's upset. Like I think it's an easy conversation to have with a kid, and you want to challenge him. You want to say, hey, you got to earn your way in practice, or be honest with him, dude. We don't think you're all the way back to the guy we saw last year. Some days you look like yourself, and some days you look like you need the knee brace. I I'm not there at practice. By the way, I don't have people in my ear telling like I don't know like especially when the season starts. They're really buttoned up about what's happening in practice. So I don't know if like I have to go by what Sark is saying, right? And if he's saying that, hey, bro, if you show me in practice, I'll get you some more reps. That's what the coach said. So, and we haven't seen him out there enough to know. That's all I can say. And the thing is, AD Mitchell has been delivering at the thing we were paying him to do, which is catching the football. So yes, the blocking has been frustrating, but he's delivered on big, big, big catches for us already. Um, any other? Oh yeah. So you guys asked us about a few other games. By the way, I'm gonna plug it one more time. Go to Bleacher Report, Bleacher Report app. So download Bleacher Report, download the app, and we have a weekly college football show where we're picking all the games. This morning's show was a blast. If you this morning when we were live, if you just open the Bleacher Report app, it was me, Ty from Around the Table, Jay from Unfair, and Nino's Corner on there just talking ball, which is an incredible audience for us to have. So go check that out. All of our picks are on there. So Bleacher Report divides it up by games. And so our Colorado piece of our episode is getting a lot of banter back and forth. A lot of people talking about Colorado and Oregon at Autzen Stadium this week in Eugene, which is a big, big game. Biggest game of for every game has been the biggest game I feel like for Coach Prime, which that's just how he's moving the needle, Tran. But week 4 is an incredible slate. We have Ohio State, Notre Dame. Um, I mean, that's a heavyweight fight,
Mm-hmm.
right? Florida State, Clemson, big time game. So I don't know how everybody's feeling out there. If there's any upset nuggets out there, Tran, who? Oh, Ole Miss. Yep, Bama, Ole Miss, big game. LSU, Arkansas, Auburn, Texas A&M. I knew it was coming. Somebody beat me to it. As soon as I said
What?
Auburn, I was kind of just reading off the games that have my attention this weekend, and immediately somebody's like, "A&M's going to lose tomorrow morning at home to Auburn."
I don't think so. I don't think they are.
Yeah, I think I have Auburn winning that game,
You
or
do have Auburn?
I have A&M winning
Oh,
that
is it?
game. Excuse me.
Yeah, I have
Excuse me.
A&M. Yeah.
I have A&M winning that game. But I will not be surprised. Let's also be clear. I will not be surprised at all. Especially, I gave A&M too much credit because I thought I was like, you know what? They're going to be adults. They're going to go to Miami and handle their business. They should beat that Miami team. And instead, it turned into disaster, especially on defense with that fraud DJ Durkin. And I said what I said.
You're a Maryland guy.
Fuck DJ Durkin. I mean that from the bottom of my balls. Fuck that guy, man. Anyway, let's get back to our normal programming here. Nah, that's on some personal, bro. It's personal.
I
Coach
know.
Prime said.
I know.
Anyway, shout out to Bleacher Report. Y'all go on there and make sure brothers are getting some love over here.
Yo, Surfer Boy, you chill out, okay? Okay?
Well,
You guys
hold on. Surfer
waiting
Boy
for a
asked a question.
meaningful game. The championship life is tough.
Look, Surfer Boy, y'all didn't even cover last week. How are you loud like this, brother?
Hey, George is coming down to Austin next year. You coming down? Coming down to hang out?
Ooh, good question. Are you coming? Are you coming?
UCLA, Utah. Yeah, that's a good game.
So we found out this morning that line has been moving as well. I think it was I don't know, maybe it was 3 or 4 points Utah. Now it's like -6. And from the practice reports, Cameron Rising was a full participant at practice. So it sounds like he's going to make his season debut. We'll see. We've seen college is so different from the NFL. Like you can't pull none of this shit in the NFL. They ain't gonna mess with their gambling over there. Like granted, it's impacting gambling either way, but like the
Yeah.
NFL, you have to disclose all this stuff. Like we gonna know if you practiced or not. These college teams, man, they be playing games, dude. Uh,
He might have practiced.
which I would totally do if I was a coach and I wasn't required to report my injuries like that. Like you do the old school Tom Herman, everybody's questionable. Remember
Yeah.
when he used to do that?
Yeah.
Or even Bill Belichick used to
Yeah,
do
Bill
that.
Belichick like did Tom Brady like his whole career there. It's like shoulder or something. One time, didn't he put old?
No,
Or
that was
was it?
Pop
That was Pops. That was Pops. Yeah, which is hilarious.
in the NBA. That was
Yeah.
Pop. I with UCLA Utah, I want to make this one point though. I am a believer in Dante Moore, true freshman Dante Moore, who, in my opinion, this is where I stood. Everybody, look, I know we got Arch Manning. Oh, you people, we got Jackson Arnold. Everybody should be happy with the guy they got. Nico went to Tennessee. Okay, the whole QB debate for 2023. Rashada, went out there and started fast at Arizona State. Now what's face going to play? But all these guys went all over the place. Top. To me, this was one of the best quarterback classes we will see. It was hard for me to say that anybody was better than Dante Moore if I just did off eye test. Now, again, Manning gets a bump because of the pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe he should have got a bump for the pedigree. But if we're talking about just watching everybody's tape, watching them at 7-on-7s compete, Dante Moore was always him for me. He reminded me, in terms of that confidence, of Caleb Williams when I watched Caleb Williams in high school, where I'm like, he doesn't act like a what confirmed it for me with Dante Moore was the All American game when they had the All American Bowl. He was acting like he was Bryce Young. When Bryce Young came there, I was like, oh, that's a grown up. That's a 17-year-old start. Like, he's acting like an NFL quarter. Dante Moore was moving like he was a. So I am not surprised that Dante Moore has gotten off to the start he's gotten off to at UCLA under Chip Kelly. He's balling. And I think that young man's is gonna do special things in college football. Yeah, Michigan, like y'all remember Michigan was in the mix for Dante Moore, LSU, Oregon. All these people were fighting for his services. And for him to end up at UCLA is kind of crazy, considering who was out there. Notre Dame was high on Dante Moore at one point before BK went to LSU, and he's delivering right out the gate as a true freshman. We didn't even have a true freshman ball out at all last year. Not one. Everybody had to wait until they got to start late. So we haven't seen like true freshmen come out cooking in a while. And Dante's doing it. I think he was the number one Pro Football Focus quarterback last week in terms of QB grades in the country. And that included Jaden Daniels, what he did against Mississippi State.
Or didn't. Yeah.
So Dante has been balling. But this Utah test,
It's different.
at Utah.
It's a little bit different. I think Utah is going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, I picked UCLA in this game.
Did you? Okay.
I did.
I also picked Florida to get their asses beat last week. So there's that. Take mine with a grain of salt.
Hold on, Nico. Tennessee was fraudulent, bro. Surfer Boy, Tennessee was fraudulent. The street's saying that without hitting a hooker, Josh Heupel's looking suspect in the light. That offense don't look the same without Jalen Hyatt and Tillman running wide open every day I play. That offense looked way different, brother. It was Surfer Boy that said Joe Milton would set the record for longest incompletion thrown this season by a quarterback. Joe Milton.
Hey, by the way, Surfer Boy said he's going to be in Austin next year for it. So let's link up.
Let's link up. Nah, I saw Dylan make a throw from almost his knees. Marlon's choosing chaos. Marlon, I don't live in the land of hypotheticals, brother. Quinn is my quarterback. That's all I know. That's all I know, brother. Quinn is my quarterback. That's all I'm going to say, okay? I can't live in the land of, well, if this guy, if ifs and nuts were candies and butts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, brother. So I don't know, man. I do know that Shador is an absolute baller as well, though. And I was so impressed with him on that 98-yard drive. But if we're going to, I saw Quinn go into the heart of Tuscaloosa and rip those country ass people's hearts out yet again. So I don't know.
Yeah, Penix is where I want to see Quinn be at right now. Like, so someone says Penix is unreal. It's like
Mhm.
he is so comfortable within that offense and with all of his people he's been playing with for now almost 3 years. So it's just a factory for him right now, where he just, like I said, controls the
Tran,
offense.
that Heisman pick is looking nicer and nicer every day.
It's still early, man. Like I said, his toughest tests are like the last couple of games of the season. But if he wins, if he passes those tests, like it's undeniable in my eyes.
He's had more than 2 good games. Yep, that's a good point. Penix has been in that system a very long time,
Yeah.
but he runs it. He runs
Hey,
it.
by the way, when he beat Penn State that one time, he fumbled at the goal line in my eyes. when he dove for the pylon, he fumbled.
Was that when he had that guy? What was his name? Freifogel, the receiver. Was his name
I
Freifogel?
think so. I think Fogel was his last name, but I don't know what his first name was. But I remember he was It was going. I think they were going for 2, and he was diving, and the ball was out of his hands, and they called it. They even reviewed it. It was like, that's garbage. I was like, that's garbage.
They used to have those guys like that, man. That's kind of where we should end the show, is on something funny.
I've been laughing this whole time. I don't know what you talking about.
What you doing? Dude?
I don't know what you talking
No,
about.
but like those games, those players who like took the shit out of you in college, and they don't even have a cup of coffee in the NFL. Like, um, or they're just an annoyance, like some random guy that just like always had a good game against your school, like Dylan Stoner.
Yeah,
Like, like people, you're like, yeah, bro, you're not going to, you have no chance to go to the league, yet you're cooking us. Like, those people.
and the shitty thing about him was that he cooked us for like 8 years. Like Dylan Stoner was at Oklahoma State for I feel like I was in college when he was still playing.
Oh man,
Mine there's a lot of like random TCU dudes that just cooked us and they did nothing.
there's some what was the name of that one guy? Oh, name it.
Trayvon Boykin before he had that unfortunate incidents. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They should have gone to they should have made the playoffs. I'll stand on that.
Yeah, they should have. That was a better TCU team than the one last year.
Ooh,
Yep.
ooh, I agree
Truth.
with you.
Truth.
I
They beat
agree.
they beat
That
the
Trayvon
absolute
Boykin
dog shit.
TCU team was
Yeah.
better. Like,
They
if
beat
they
the
had to match
absolute
up,
dog shit out of Ole Miss. Absolute dog shit out of Ole Miss. That the in the bowl game.
I've never thought about that. Which TCU team was better? I will agree with you. I think that 2014.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
2014 TCU would beat 2022 TCU. I'm willing to stand on that. It had to have been, because that was the first year of the college football playoff, and Ohio State got in
Hmm.
and won the Natty. um, man, y'all still talking about the Quinn stuff. Mm. Doug, we will not be at the game tomorrow. I'll be in DFW.
I
I've
wish I
been.
was. I wish I was, but I have to watch my kids, and I'm not taking them to an away game by myself. I get focused on the game, and I might lose a child. They might join that cult with a whole bunch of shiplap and bullshit that they have to push over there.
I also don't want my kids seeing other teams' mascots and like the fun stuff they do on timeouts. Nah, bro. Not until you're old enough.
Yeah. Jordan has the dickhead personality that I have, so he would probably talk trash. But my daughter would want to take pictures with it. She's extra.
Mm. You also got to be careful with. We want to keep his eye in the Texas Stadium with the more. That's where the most attractive women are as well. Um, if we can influence in that direction as much as possible. I'll leave it. We did.
I'll leave it like that.
Well, we did. I feel like Texas got rid of the perv that used to be the cameraman in the stadium. I feel like that was a subtle move because that guy used to find them all. If it was outrageous what we used to see. I haven't the what
Family
game
friendly,
I went to,
unfortunately.
the Rice game.
Yeah.
Rice game. He was, they seem to be a little bit more reserved about the audience and stuff they showed on the jumbotron. So
Boo
that was
this
interesting.
man, bring him back.
I'm just reporting. I'm just
I was
reporting
just
what I'm seeing. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. Y'all, if you've been to Texas games before this year, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
you don't need to talk to me about it. I know. Like I know you and I are like shit. Yeah, they kept us on the jumbotron, and it sucked too because we went down like 20. We went down like 14 points to start the game, and then we had a good time afterwards.
I'm not even gonna put what Corey put in the chat, but
You need to stop. You need to stop, bruh. You need to stop.
Surfer Boy, I is Stetson okay? Is he with the team right now? I heard some disconcerting news. In all seriousness, I know he had come out and was looking good in camp and had some good preseason moments, but then um, I heard recently that Steady B might be in some trouble. Confirm. Over. Um, Texas boy, thank you again for the donation. How about the how about that defense? Think we went from 128th to first. Little hey, you know what? I'm glad you brought this up because that's why I had to retire the PK graphic. For those who don't remember the PK graphic, if you haven't been on this channel long enough, um, we used to have a graphic of how nasty the defense was in 2021. But then it went the other way too hard in 2022 to where everybody wanted to give the credit to Gary Patterson. Like full credit. Not that Gary Patterson didn't. I want to be very clear here, okay? Gary Patterson was awesome for us and help instill a lot of things that we're still using today. And he's a guy that's a friend of the program, right? It's very easy for them to call him during the week. It's not like Gary's not watching ball and not plugged in, right? To get certain tidbits and whatnot. But PK is the one that deserves the credit. That's how it works everywhere else. He is the one that has the headset on. He is the one that calls the plays. He is the one that works with the staff to decide rotations. He is the one that decides if we are going to be pressure heavy this week or if we're going to be more coverage based. He decides what our run fits are. It's all that's he's the one ultimately that takes counsel from everybody on the staff and makes the decision. So we should be giving him credit for this turnaround because people wanted him gone after 20. I get it. 2021 was nasty. Trust me, we were still here. You can go back and watch those videos. We flashed that PK sheet all the time. But since then, brother, has he year over year made this thing pop? And a lot of credit to Pete Kwiatkowski and the job he's done here at Texas. He's been the exact guy he's been his whole career out on the West Coast. And that's good because I hate when people come here and they don't cook how they used to cook everywhere else. We can't say that that's the case for PK. Trent.
Yeah, perfect example is Todd Orlando apparently is cooking where he's at right now too. Like he's at was it
USF.
South Florida. I
Are we
know.
giving Todd Orlando credit for that one?
Hey man, I know that the quarterback's trash. You got to play who you got to play, right? And he limited him. I mean, what? I mean,
Todd Orlando had him in a bind, brother.
Yeah. It's like maybe those guys are like Stetson Bennett and should be the Heisman Trophy winner, right, Surfer Boy? Oh man, y'all play too much.
Gary out here right now. These comments are hilarious. He did say put some respect on my name.
Bingo trap. Oh man.
What's up, Dustin? Good to see you here, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, man.
Honestly, they're not that bad to tell you the truth. For the most part, all the OU fans are pretty cordial and they're pretty nice, especially if they know the show. They I have that story of the first time I ever went to an OU game was the first year we started doing this. And the first people that noticed us were OU fans. They came up to me and said that they really liked the show and how we were. You could tell we were friends and we were just shooting the shit and things like that. But as a player, from my brother's perspective, is like he said people would spit on him and spit on the team and stuff like that. And he said it was more so like the fans to the players as it was for the fans versus the fans.
You know, I'm gonna take this one too. It's automatically going to be different for two reasons. And I'm saying different because I've never been to the outdoor cocktail party, so I don't know how wild it is. But anything that has the word cocktail in it, I'm sure there's a lot going on there. In terms of the Red River rivalry, you have the setting and backdrop of the state fair. It's literally inside the Texas State Fair. The Texas State Fair, which runs, they just put up Big Tex today, I think. And it's a fair that runs pretty much the entire, almost the entire month of October. It runs for almost a month, if not longer. And so that particular day, you not just have people there that are for the game. You got state people that are attending the fair. It's a massive event, right? And so with that too is the other unique thing is the split at the 50 with the fan bases. We're not intermingled. We're not intertwined. We were actually fortunate enough, Trent and I were to go to the Big 12 championship game where we were mixed in together, and it was very different, right? Like it was more of a normal football game in a sense of, you're sitting, you're gonna maybe be sitting next to somebody that's rooting for the opposite team. The Texas OU game, you're not going to have an OU person on your side, and vice versa, unless that person doesn't want to have a good experience, and they're not going to be impacting your fan experiences. Is what I mean to say. I agree with Tran. Nothing but positive experiences. Yeah, people will do horns down in your face and think that pisses you off or whatever, or may talk a little. And we went to the game where there was the biggest comeback, right? Where Lincoln Riley and them and Caleb Williams, and even then,
I did not go to that one.
yeah,
I was at my friend's wedding, and right
you're right,
after that happened, I had to do
you're
a
right.
speech there.
But when I was there with Homer.
Yeah,
I I mean, our sadness and disappointment wasn't magnified by OU. Like, really, what happens is the other fan base kind of clears out, and you just go have a freaking ball, the best day ever at the fair. And like, I remember walking out of the Cotton Bowl and kind of just wanting to get some water and try to process before I went back to my car. And you're seeing, like, because there's so many families at this fair, right? So you're seeing these OU fans in line, just having everybody's getting drinks. It's a party, right? It turns into like, but your kids are there because your kids are at the fair, and you'll see the saddest Texas fans on the whoever lost. In that case, it was Texas, that are also in line with their kids because they still got to take the kids to the fair because they've been waiting to go play all the rides. And that's when you'll see some very nasty business going on with some parents having some tough conversations because they mad as shit their football team lost. It's hilarious. It's one of the greatest people watching experiences you can embark in. But I
yeah.
won't say I've seen some nasty games and some nasty rivalries, aka Cowboys Eagles, where it's nasty, especially come from the East Coast. Nah, Texas OU, it's a respectful trash talk. Now you may there's always going to be some drunk idiots here and there, but for the most part, I don't think it's nasty to where extra police is needed. These fan base, like, there's some nasty like we gang type rivalries. I don't think that, just having gone through it, it's not at that. It's not like that.
Yeah. I think it was Raymond had a good question. Oh no, Ruben Martinez had a good question because it was something that you and I were talking about. Man, Cowboys Eagles games. Yeah.
Especially the ones in Philly.
Eagles fans are the scum of the earth, and they're proud to think that they're scumbags. And then, but and honestly, like some of the Cowboys fans, that they're just annoying as well. I mean, and when you put them together, it's just a combination of just trash. Like,
Sam said, "I don't have enough bail money to go to to the game." But I will say that last game we played in in Cotton Bowl was, man, I had a ball that
oh,
day.
I know you did.
Oh man. All right, I think we're gonna wrap up here. Oh, if I didn't give a score for the prediction, 35-13 Texas over Baylor, by the way.
Hey, before we leave, 35-13, cool. Can you go? Can we talk about this Ruben Martinez question where it says, "Are we giving Cincy any chance tomorrow?"
We're oh, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So we were talking about this, and we're like, if Oklahoma goes into Cincinnati and does what they've been doing and runs up like 50, 60 points, they're a threat. They're a legit team because Cincinnati, this is going to be their hardest game that they've played this year, and they're going to be ready for them. So, but if they come out and they score like 20 points and lose, in my eyes, they're a fraud. So, because they haven't played anyone really.
I said on Bleacher Report today, they played Bishop Sycamore, Valdosta State, and Dallas Jesuit. That's OU's schedule so far this year. They have played, in all seriousness, they've played some of the worst competition you can possibly ask for in college football right now. And the one, SMU held them scoreless for 2 quarters this season. So they'll tell you a story that, hey, we're top 10 in the country in offense and top 10 in the country in defense. I told Jay this morning, yeah, you should be with that schedule. You should be top 10 in both when you're playing JV schools. So since he's not good either, let's
Yeah.
just be honest. So, they've got some veteran players, especially the quarterback, but I mean, OU should handle that. OU's not OU if they're any type of legitimate, they should not be tested until they play us. In all seriousness.
Yeah.
Iowa State's defense is good, but they literally can't score. You should have no problem. If you can get to 21 against Iowa State, you're Gucci there. So what test do they really? Bro said they played DeVry. It's like we said earlier. Baylor reached out to Long Island on LinkedIn. Where was OU at? Were they on Craigslist negotiating with these teams? What platform? How do you even
Facebook
contact?
market. Facebook market.
I'm like, man, I didn't know you could play a school like that. I didn't know you could play multiple schools like that.
That's what happened. That's what happens when you're broke. You got to pay those. You can't afford to play the mid majors. So like, hey, we got $15.27. You want to
Yo,
come down here and play?
you bro said Fiverr. If y'all don't know, if y'all don't know about Fiverr, go look that up. That's funny. Raven's funny. Raven. No, we saw him throw the ball. He threw that shit. That was more sidearm than Uncle Rico. I mean, come on. We saw him. Oh no, Surfer Boy, y'all schedule Jaw Light too for SEC school. That's crazy. Surfer Boy, especially now that now that you know Tennessee is fraudulent, smooth sailing for Georgia until the SEC championship game. It should be.
I don't know. Missouri, when they play them, maybe their wide receivers can go off against them. Who knows?
This Coastal Carolina schedule BYU. Well, you must be like they're that. It's literally like the definition of like um you like in boxing or MMA. If you want to more so in boxing because you MMA, at least there's accountabilities in accountability in my man, my man said that's LSU schedule right there. I can't, man. Nah, they're gonna be charged up. If I was an OU fan, I'd be keeping all this as receipts. They're in their basement, just angry as shit after the guy that embarrassed them in front of the school last year, waiting to get every day, just checking it off, waiting to get revenge on us. So I know
It is
if I was that guy, I'd be in the basement just
it
salty
is what
right
it is. Do you remember that the year you went to where they had that biggest comeback? We were all talking about like, hey, I want the team to chant put in Caleb or something. And apparently they started doing it, and
Yep,
we got blamed for it.
yep.
People were
That was
quick.
all that was that.
Yeah, people were
Yep.
quick to call us out on that.
We started that chant, like, early too. Man, we were sold see, back bro, lies were told during that remember, we were 4-1.
Yeah.
We were 4-1 at that point, and we were up by almost 30 on OU.
Mm-hmm.
Lies were told. But the if look, OU fans are screenshotting this as we're speaking right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And saying, look, that's why look, at some point Seth is gonna come back before the game. And we're gonna talk to Seth and Chris and have our normal banter in a couple weeks. But
Mm-hmm.
notice how quiet they've been. At least some of them. Some of them are still loud and wrong, but you know, Seth is down there just grinding tape. Every he could have come back with the greatest diss track if they win. Like that's sports. That's fanatic, right? Like that's the stuff that we do.
I Hey, you know me. As long as it's funny, I don't give a shit. Like, if it makes me laugh,
Oh no,
like,
that's the thing. No, Seth will be back. Seth will be back. Anyway, they're down here. That threw me off. I forgot what I was even talking about before Drew typed the Everest College shit. Um, that was hilarious. Yeah, they were out there. Um, yeah, we just want to see OU against some good competition. Because last year, that's the thing. This is why, right? Last year they came out stunned, right? And look, I'm not gonna lie. I said it then. When at that point in which they tore up Nebraska, especially that pass rush, I was like, wow, BV already recreated that front he had at Clemson that quick. Like that was like, damn, like they look crazy. And then they played TCU or Kansas State, and then TCU,
mm-hmm.
and got exposed to where it's like I couldn't believe how good I felt going into that week against OU, and I still wanted to say it was a close game only because of our mental, not realizing how bad they actually were. And so a lot of people in the country, that's why they're not ranked higher, by the way. A lot of the people in the country are like, we're not falling for that again. We need to see you guys in conference play first. And the thing is, the way the conference schedules worked out, they don't even play uh, anybody until they play us. So
Yeah.
anyway, I know it's getting late here, and we've been talking for a while. So any
It's,
other comments, things we need to address?
no, I just don't want to overlook Baylor. I want to. We haven't won at Baylor since Tom Herman,
2017? Yeah.
2017. Yeah. So we got to exercise those demons. Go out there, dominate. You are a better team. Go out and prove it. Just go out and dominate early. Do not leave it up to a close possession game or anything like that.
OK State is also fraudulent. They suck. The thing is, the one year they actually really suck is the year we don't get to play them. That's what sucks.
Yeah, for real.
The
For
1 year,
real.
like they really are
For
ass.
real.
We don't get to play them.
For real. Man, that's terrible. According to the schedule that Oklahoma has right now, we're the only ranked team that they're playing.
Yeah,
So if they get beat by us,
they don't play Kansas State
yeah,
either.
if they get beat by us by more than 2 possessions, they should not be ranked the rest of the year.
Oh, that's crazy. But so you just flat out you're like they're fraudulent.
Yes, if they do. I'm not saying that they are. Don't say that I'm saying that they're. But if we're their one test and they get beat by multiple possessions, what would you say that would be?
Well, they're still going to be a team that's probably going to be in the Big 12 championship game though. So we have to like, yeah, 11-1. Regardless, you're not going to be out of it. You're just not. I wouldn't say that. I just think they wouldn't be taken seriously as a playoff contender. They'd be out of that conversation. They'd be out of the conversation of, they'd be in that New Year's Six area. But yeah, I wouldn't say they can be ranked. I mean, it's still a Power Five conference at the end of the day.
I know. I'm just saying no.
What's up, Dorian? Bro, I have one question for you. And first off, statement. Roshan, great. He's doing great
Yep.
already. Already RB2. And he's coming for that number one spot. I think both our backs look amazing in the pros, and I'm very happy for Roshan. But my question for you, Dorian, while you're here, what the hell is going on in Chicago, man? We got the FBI. We have Justin Fields blaming a coach, blaming the coaches. We have Justin Fields looking worse than Mitsubishi did when they drafted him over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. What the hell is going on in the Chicago Bears? They've lost what, 12 straight games? And now people are talking about there was a raid and the coach and all this. Dorian, it's got to be crazy over there. And I think you went to Chicago last weekend or the weekend before to see
Yeah.
he shook, but like, dude, like, I can't imagine what it's been like. What comes on your phone on a daily basis about what's going on the team? It's crazy.
All I know is that run against the Green Bay Packers for Roshan was beautiful. It was
A raid, yes, an actual raid. What is going on? The Chicago, like, I feel like that's a story that is somehow being underreported with all of the. Okay, yeah, yeah, it's bad, brother. We see it, okay, because I got Sunday. By the way, YouTube TV, if
amazing.
you want to sponsor your
Amazing.
boy, I'll do it for
Amazing.
free.
Yeah.
YouTube TV
Amazing. Dude.
product. But because of that, with the new Sunday ticket, them now having Sunday ticket, I'm able to see all your guys, and so I'm able to get on my quad view
Oh, it's
Bijan,
so amazing.
watching Roshan over here, watching the Bears game over here, watching other games where I have my fantasy players. I want to see how they're doing just across the league, or see guys here. Somebody's making a play. I'll even have red zone in one box and have 3 games going. Man, it's fantastic.
Direct TV,
But because
they
of
have
that, I
no
feel like I've
evasion.
been able to follow Roshan so quickly. Like I haven't had to. I'm not. Oh, where's snaps, or how do I track it on my phone? Like they've made it really accessible. Um, no, I see it happening with your brother already. I mean, he already earned that RB2 job, just from a standpoint of being one of the few people that actually executes when they ask him to do something, and being selfless. Also, let's be honest, he looks explosive.
Mm-hmm.
That run he had down the sidelines, and how he finished the run, you know, look, and even that last year at Texas, Suge was running away from people like he normally hadn't had the first few years. I also think the way he carried the football helped with that too. But the last couple of years, he has looked a lot more explosive in the open field, and I've already seen that with the Bears. I think he's going to be one of the bright spots. Um, I said, Trent, didn't I say this last night
Yeah.
about both of them?
Yeah, it's because they get to focus specifically on football. They don't have to go to class. They don't have to deal with the BS that they have to deal with of running a whole program. They can focus on football, and they're both amazing football players. They're students of the game, and you could see it. You could see it in their speed, their bodies, their body of work, things like that. It's really nice to see that they're going in and producing at such a young age, and I guess such a young tenure. I think Bijan is like what, second in rushing,
Yeah,
right?
rushing out. Yeah, and
Right behind
McCaffrey played,
McCaffrey. Yeah.
who played last night. So he's played 3 games and Bijan's played 2. No, Bijan shook the whole team in all seriousness. But the thing with him is, I will say this in both cases, when you're decisive because things got blocked correctly, sometimes you'll look faster too. Like sometimes it's not just, yes, I do think their raw speed is both improved. I think the training, them being full time athletes now, gives them more resources to still optimize and get, even if it's a 3% boost in performance or whatever, right? That their body, they just didn't have the time for, hadn't developed to in college. But I also think just seeing things quickly, and it's like, wow, we're used to having to jump cut all the time
Mm-hmm.
and out of traffic and stop, start, and all this type of stuff. And you see some of the blocking that, like, especially when they allow Bijan to more so play traditional running back. Atlanta tries to get cute and they'll throw all these BS screen passes and get him blasted and stuff. But when he's able to kind of get downhill on like a normal zone run, he does look way quicker, just accelerating through the hole. He just looks decisive. Roshan ran through somebody's chest in one of their games
He murdered
where
someone.
he just hit
Yeah.
the hole. Yeah, he just hit the hole, and you could tell that it's like with Suge, he was like, "Oh, I got this much space. I'm just going to accelerate, right?" And I think that's why they've both been so noticeable early on in the pros as rookie backs. Um, Man, they do have better blocking at this level, no doubt about it. The Falcons are one of the best run blocking teams in the NFL. That's Arthur Smith specialty and all that stuff. So I say that. That's why I thought Bijan was always going to be in play for Atlanta at 7. I mean, look what Arthur Smith did when he was on the Titans with Derrick Henry and their run schemes there. He is a guy who wants to run the rock. So now Kyle Pitts is being just wasted over there too, but you can't always get what you want. Now Bijan looked like that, and in all seriousness, he was gliding. My goodness, special talent, man. Like when you think about the names, when you just casually watching TV, and they're like, "Yeah, this guy reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson." I feel like we shouldn't take that type of praise lightly. Like considering LT is one of the greatest running backs ever,
Of all time. Yep.
and he's one of the best football players of our lifetime. And like that's just a casual Bijan comp. I don't know if we've ever like stopped to like think about that, Tran, and the perspective and the gravity of like how special of a football player he is, and to be compared to people like that just so casually, it's I don't know,
Oh,
just
I've known how special he was since we've drafted him. I was like, when we drafted him, and there's something like he was averaging 28 yards per carry. To me, it's like he didn't take any wear and tear in high school. He was just running sprints on fools. So I was like, he's going to come in pretty fresh, and he came in, really only played 2.5 seasons. Didn't take anything really terrible except that one time he fell on his shoulder, and he just sat out for that. And you see it right now. I just hope he continues on this trajectory. I mean, he's a great ambassador for Texas too, because he's even throwing up the horns still now on his Instagram and things like that.
no, he's any. I mean, the endorsements will be boundless for him because if you're any type of company and you need a pitch man, that's one of the first people I'm calling. That's another thing that sold Atlanta. I was like, he's a face of the franchise type player. He's a guy that's going to be on the cover of Madden one day. He's a guy that's when you do these like follow the player's life scenario, like they model those models after people like Bijan, like not even trying to be corny or anything, but from a standpoint of like who you want your kids to emulate. He you don't just, and it's crazy to see this right now because you see it with him and you see it with like Micah Parsons on the Dallas Cowboys on the other side when they talk about like you're running out of people to compare Micah to. Those are things that I don't take lightly. I'm saying that as a Cowboys fan and as a Texas fan. Just having the honor to watch that dude play football for us for 3 seasons that went by like this. That to come full circle, that's why we have the sense of urgency we do. When people say, "Oh, why?" Nah, man, I'm not. I want to see them perform because it's gone like that. Quentin Ewers is draft eligible after this year, folks. It's gone like that. So we don't have as many games like when it's like, oh, they didn't turn up because it's Wyoming. Or they look through this person, they look through this team because we being vanilla. I don't want to hear about vanilla when when you get great players, they're only going to be here 3 years if they're really great players, right? That means you get what? How many games, Tran? Maybe 40?
Not even, dude. Like if you run deep into the playoffs, if you make it to the playoffs,
Yeah,
yeah, then you'll get
you get
40.
maybe 40 games in a uniform. How many? Let's use Bijan as an example. How many games did Bijan play at the University of Texas? Did we
Prob
get to see a chance to see him suit up in a Texas jersey and perform? How many games?
I would say 30-ish.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's why I get mad as shit when they don't play well. Because it's not like you get a whole bunch of games to see them
Yep.
before they're gone. And guess what? In the NFL, you can't even look through people in the NFL. The teams are so close. It could be the worst. It could be the worst team in the league. And they'll bust your ass if you even remotely try to look to next week.
Yeah.
That's why there's so much parity.
It's because
Does anybody have a number on that? How many games did Bijan play in a Texas uniform? That's why. That's why I'm mad. We didn't win more games last year. That's why I said last year is a disappointment. Because I don't want to waste guys like that.
31 games.
Think about Vince Young. Vince Young was now he played in more games than this, but as a starting quarterback at Texas, Vince Young played 32 games.
Yeah, Bijan played 31.
Wow. That's it. 31 games. VY went 30-2 as a starter. That's not a lot of games compared to when you're a pro fan and you get to, like, for example, I'm Dak Prescott, Dak fan, Cowboys fan, right? Dak Prescott is going to make his 100th start against the Arizona Cardinals this week. Dak Prescott's making his 100th start. He played a fraction of that many games for Mississippi State. One of the greatest eras of Mississippi State football, when he led them to the number one ranking in the country out of nowhere with Dan Mullen. He played a fraction of that, of what he's now played in the NFL. So we can't take the 30 for granted in college. You can't. Not when we're talking about great players. We talking about a whole team where you don't care about the faces that change? Sure. But those numbers are pretty consistent across the board. You look at Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush played more snaps in the NFL than he did in college of football. But damn it, he made those few games he played at USC feel like a lifetime. And so, I don't know. Now I'm just ranting, Sharon. Anywho, thank you for the stat on there, the stat hub. I appreciate it.
I don't doubt that Bijan winning the Heisman if he was on UGA.
Yep.
I don't doubt that.
If they red shirt, yep. If they red shirt,
He honestly should have been in the Heisman over over Stetson Bennett. Pow.
yep. That's why. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to be here very long. Jatavian's draft eligible. To Drew's point about if you redshirt or if you don't play that, let's just say we use that first year as development year. If you come in your sophomore year, you're already ramped up to your talent level. Guess what? You're gone in 2 years, buddy. Yeah, yeah. Hit the like buttons right. Yeah, Trent. Yes, Trent got on your ass, Silver Boy. Notice he didn't respond after that. Trent got you.
No, but let's be honest. I mean, with the
That's
offensive,
it.
with the offensive line that he had last year, and him also rushing for almost 2,000 yards, bruh, he should have been there. Heisman is supposed to be reserved for the most outstanding football player, in my eyes. That's always what the Heisman has been about. And Caleb Williams deserved the award. He was fantastic. But you take Bijan off of this offense, and the offense is not going to be as successful. There was a couple games where Bijan just willed the team. Kansas State, Kansas. I mean, they didn't need him to will the team against Kansas, but I mean, didn't he have 4 touchdowns and like 200 something yards against them?
Yeah, and you know we saw them deliver. You know, Roshan was holding it down and would deliver, but we were real blessed to have both those guys on the same team last year. Is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wish Caden's, man, get well soon, Caden
Yeah.
Stearns. Get well soon. Heard bad news, man. First game of the year. I was like, damn, not my boy.
Yeah, man.
All right. I'm signing off. Great slate of football tomorrow starting in the morning. Some of you guys are saying Auburn and A&M. A&M is going to be fraudulent right off the bat, and the day of anarchy will pursue. But a lot of great ones tomorrow: Florida State, Clemson, Colorado, Oregon, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. I actually got Notre Dame winning that game. They said they have Notre Dame hasn't beaten Ohio State since 1936 train. But I got Notre Dame winning that game.
So the last time they played was that bowl game with Brady Quinn and Brady Quinn's sister, who's married to
AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk, right? There's that one.
No, that was one of the more recent games, but they played each other last year
Oh, did they? Okay.
in the opener. And look, Notre Dame held Stroud to 21 points.
Yep.
Notre Dame just didn't have an offense. And now, this is something we discussed on the Bleacher Report app this morning in depth, but Notre Dame now, Estime leads the country in rushing. They have the nation's leading rusher, and Sam Hartman is fifth in passing. What an offensive transformation for Notre Dame this year compared to having nothing last year. Didn't Buckner play in that game against? Yep. Yep, but it was Buckner. But it's like when you catch the bad guy at the end of Scooby Doo and they pull the mask off, and it's like Tyler Buckner's head. I knew I smelled a rat. Man,
You see Surfer Boy. He said Texas would have beat Alabama and TCU with Stetson back calling the shots.
I have receipts. Surfer Boy did not have this type of belief in Stetson Bennett before last season. I have receipts. Sam Hartman is
38 years old.
Sam Hartman.
Well,
I was like, damn, is that Dennis Quaid? Like,
yeah. What did I say? I was like, he's not collecting NIL. He's collecting 401k.
401k. Sam Hartman looks like one of the software salesmen we work with, where they got the hot shot they bring in, to talk about Gen AI and stuff. Let's talk about machine learning, baby. That's the guy. That's who Sam Hartman is. He's one of the corporate bros, man. But he's out here making it rain at Notre Dame.
Don't pull the receipt, Steve. I was on Sagittarius score.
Yeah,
I love how Surfer Boy's on our schedule. We've tried to close this up like 3 times, and he's tried to say I'm out 3 times, but he just keeps coming back.
He's like the guy from Unnecessary Roughness. That's funny.
Oh, dude.
You remember that?
That is a great reference, Drew. That's a great reference, my friend.
Now I gotta get a picture, damn it.
God.
He's like the guy from
Oh, man. Scott Bakula.
Yeah, Bakula.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Damn, I forgot. Yo, Sinbad was in this movie as the fictional Texas State.
Who was?
Sinbad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sinbad was in it.
Holy shit. This is definitely
Hey,
Sam Hartman.
that's the one with the supermodel. I forgot what her name was. She's the field goal kicker, right?
Yes.
Kathy Ireland. Ireland, right?
Why am I acting like I don't know? Oh, here we go. They said this.
I think I got to start adding that movie to my rotation, like to get pumped for football season. I always watch Longest Yard, the program, the movie Wildcats, and I think I need to throw this one in, bro.
Said that Sam Hartman
so
dog.
so 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 David, the
Great
program is
reference.
100% the most underrated movie, but at the same time, it's properly rated because the acting is so awful. Like, watch that one scene where what's the running back's name? Um, Epps, Mike Epps, not Mike Epps, Omar
Omar.
Epps. Omar Epps is like, not today, where he's trying to do his cuts, and you could tell it's not him at all. I think they should remake that movie with actually good actors, and it'd be fantastic. Darnell Jefferson, yep.
It is hilarious. Like this is literally Notre Dame what they decide to do. Like Scott Bakula is a see unnecessary roughness. At least it was about college. Now, if we're
Yeah,
talking about pros, the replacements is a better movie for sure. Um, Favorite football movies. We're gonna have an episode about that one day.
yeah.
There's so many underrated ones. Um,
No one's watched Wildcats. That one should probably
Wildcats is good. Yeah,
fucking great, man.
I love Wildcats.
It's old school, but man, that's
Goldie
like,
Hawn.
yeah, that's Wesley
Football,
Snipes. Yeah, yeah.
football. Um, nah, the bro said dog. See, this is why we too late. Bro said radio for fam.
I mean, if we're being legit, remember the Titans is one. No one's mentioned that. Um, God, what other ones?
I mean, I, I think some people consider. I think a lot of people consider. Look, 39 years old.
Bad luck, 39 years old.
the I think
Yeah, Friday Night Lights, Varsity Blues. Yeah,
nah, but I think the. Do you think the gold standard though is Friday Night Lights, or would you say every given Sunday? Because I feel like I don't know, maybe it's two different things. Because every given Sunday was
yeah.
such a pro football NFL type experience. versus the other movies we're referencing are very college experience. But like football movies in general, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like every given Sunday gets like people always regard to Willie Beeman. They always
Yeah.
regard to Al Pacino's speech. Um,
That will be the fucking difference in the game. No, I just like it. I like it because it just shows like the seedy back end stuff that professional athletes deal with. It's I like that, but if we're talking about like building a team and things like that, yeah, it depends on what mood I'm in. But I will, if the program is on, I will always watch that movie. There's not there's not a time that I'm just not like I could be heading out to work or something like yeah, I'm late for work. I'm watching this. I gotta see all the way up to uh starting defense sets the table. Latimer putting his head through the windows.
Playmakers. All right, so yes, I was gonna get on playmakers. I think my other favorite is Remember the Titans, and that was made literally. I think I was the lead demographic for that film at that time.
Yeah.
I've never been so lit during a theater like a movie that I can remember off the bat as a kid is when I saw Remember the Titans in the movie theaters for the first time. That was a magical experience. But playmakers. Oh, another the one what was it called? That football movie that's I will say this, that's low key kind of good. Y'all go cook me. I don't give a shit. Um that movie with The Rock where he was a quarterback,
Yeah, the game plan or something like that
the
with
game plan.
yeah, it's with his
I
daughter, right?
enjoyed that movie with
Yeah.
Morris Chestnut. I don't care. That movie like I enjoyed that movie.
Uh, I'm sorry, Rock's not a quarterback. Let's be real.
I
Let's be
know,
for
but
real.
like
Let's
they
be for
suspended
real.
belief. My uncle was in Gridiron Gang, by the way, and I still don't care for that movie.
Your uncle exhibit.
It was too long. It was too long. Quarterback was ass. Um,
The
just
safe
wasn't.
the safety was supposed to be a tough guy, but he was always getting punked out on the field. Dude,
Like the Water Boy.
Alvin Mack had a son that was drafted recently. Like the real Alvin Mack. Like I don't know what his name is, but he played for Ohio State.
Gridiron Gang's long as shit. Oh man, that movie was way too long. I'm like, God damn, I don't care anymore. There's another movie, a football movie with Kurt Russell and Robin Williams, where got to replay a high school game. Did you ever? Kurt Russell was the quarterback and Robin Williams was the receiver. It was an '80s movie. It was actually a good football movie too.
Yeah, I remember one that was like on TGI Friday back in the day. It was called like Backfield in Motion. It was like with Roseanne Barr. And it was terrible. So I wonder if they stole off of that one.
Draft Day is an excellent movie about football, but like I put that in the same category as Jerry Maguire. Like they're not really playing football on the field. It's not it's more about what's happening off the field, but it still evolves around football if that makes sense. So I love Draft Day, but I put that in a different category. I don't consider that when I think about football movies. Mm.
What's that movie with the The Syracuse running back that won the Heisman. I forgot what it was called.
The Express.
Yeah, the Express. I never
Little
watched it
Giants,
actually.
great football
Oh
movie.
yeah, Little Giants, of course.
There we go.
You see the way that these stupid chats turn? By the way, by stupid I mean I love it. It's entertaining the crap out of me, but
Then we're gonna talk about the longest yard.
come on, man. I was like,
It's good.
it's good. It's good, but come on.
The funniest part of the longest yard is Stone Cold Steve Austin when he says, "That's how a white man runs the football."
You're right.
but like when he's talking to Nelly.
Yeah. Nelly has to talk to Bob Sapp like him out. He's acting him
That's how a
out.
white man runs the football. Stone Cold, man, that was funny. Oh gosh. Nah, what is that? You have to go watch somebody go Google that real quick on
Why don't you
YouTube
pull
or
it
whatever.
up? Why don't you pull it up? Oh, might get us demonetized.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I would play it. I would play it here if it didn't get us demonetized, but YouTube's been on my ass recently. But yeah, they there's a clip in there during the game, the prisoners versus the guards, where Stone Cold and Nelly were having a little back and forth, and Stone Cold ran through somebody. Even after Nelly said, "That's how a white man runs football," like Mike Allstott style, or
Well, you
Johnny.
ain't in the game, bitch.
Oh my god!
apparently though, Stone Cold used to be the truth for Edna back in the day.
They said The Longest Yard is a better prison movie than it is a football movie.
Surfer Boy goes, no one said Blindside. Is it too early?
That's messed up.
It's not. It's hilarious. Uh,
I can't believe some people said though that Sandra Bullock should get her Best Actress Oscar back. Who the fuck you mean? That's not that Tui lady hate me. Oh man, Blindside. That movie's aged as poorly as The Toy with Richard Pryor. Damn, The Blind Side. Now, Little Giants, and I'm being honest because the bad guys were technically the Cowboys, and you know how hard it was for me to like this movie or come around on this movie as a kid because I'm like, why are the Cowboys the bad guys? The fuck is this shit? But no, the characters in the Little Giants and how they, in a weird way, brought an element to football that people can impact the game in multiple ways that aren't necessarily the most physical people, but using your brain and the analytics of sport.
so
Like it was cool for the kid to be on the sideline that was like drawing up plays. Like he was just as cool and useful as somebody that was on the field that was a physical player, you know.
so one thing the one thing that I have a nitpicking moment on for Little Giants is when they have Johnny run to his dad. What football game's going to allow that father on the middle of the field with his briefcase? The fool came on the field with his briefcase. Like, just to remind your whole stupid audience that, yeah, he's traveling all the time. It bothers me every time my kids watch that. I'm like, we have to fast forward through this. I can't. I hate Johnny's dad. I hate,
They'd be like some other parent, hey, get off my field. Get off my field. I felt like
I'm
around
gonna actually.
there, they were
I'm
called the
actually
Warrior.
googling top football movies.
You know which another good movie was All the Right Moves. Tom Cruise. That's a good football movie. Good Northeastern football movie. Very underrated quarterback whose name was Rifleman. Great name for a quarterback.
Are we considering Jerry Maguire a football movie?
I just talked about this. Said it's a football movie about football, but in the same sense of like draft day in a different lane. When I'm thinking of football movies, I'm thinking of movies where we are seeing the action, majority of the action on the field, not like
Not a couple scenes.
right. Like I love Jerry Maguire. I don't consider it. I consider it a movie about the life around football, but it's a rom com or brown. Like Little Giants, you see them practicing. You see them constantly on the field playing football, um, or Friday Night Lights or Varsity Blues. They're on the field. Facing the Giants, that's a good Christian movie. Made that guy crawl the hole to teach him about faith.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
No, I like Facing the Giants. Billingsley's dad was Tim McGraw, guys. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Yeah, the drunk.
Yeah, that was Tim McGraw.
Ooh, Invincible.
Invincible,
Yeah,
the Vince Papale movie that was in Mark Wahlberg.
yeah.
I don't know. I put that one in the same boat as the. This is gonna sound like some hater shit, but I don't give a damn. When I saw it was a movie about the Eagles, it just my interest was meh. So I put that in the same category as the Philadelphia kicking garbage man movie with Tony Danza. That's the same one I put Invincible in. And what was that movie even called? That movie was better than Invincible to me because at least it had like that goofy Disney attitude behind it. I don't know if you remember that movie. Do you remember
I
that movie, Frank?
I don't. With Tony Danza.
With Tony Danza, he was on the it was called the Sun. What was it called? Yeah, here it is. So stupid. It was the dumbest name, but like that's the same lane I put Invincible in. I don't care if I sound like a hater. It's my truth. This is the movie.
Oh, whoa,
You never saw that one, Trent?
bruh.
Are you serious?
I've never
You
seen.
never saw this movie?
I'm not understanding what the movie's supposed. So he's a garbage guy who becomes a field goal kicker.
If you've ever seen a movie title try to also be a
Is this
synopsis,
on Disney Plus? I'm looking this shit up right now because I'm watching it late night. Hey, you might be leaving. I might just have a little talk along with with the chat while I watch it.
Dude, you've never seen this movie or
No,
heard
sir.
about it?
Why would someone ever invest in something like that? It looks like a horrible investment. I'm looking up to see if this is on Disney Plus.
Dude, I watched this movie a few times growing up.
Garbage picking, field goal kicking. Oh, oh God.
Yo, the movie.
Yeah, it's not on this. It's not on this. It's not on Disney Plus. Apparently, it's not. It's not very popular. Apparently,
Hey, Connor Johnson's comment is funny as shit. Do you remember always with Donovan McNabb on It's Always Sunny? Hi, I'm Donovan. He got out of like a fucking Toyota Camry.
oh God, oh God, oh, jeez. Man, that you went for that. You had to go into some type of deep dark chamber that you had to push behind. That you watched that like.
As soon as I turn this live off, we're gonna watch the trailer together.
Oh God. Did you find it?
It won't take me long, sir.
Garbage picking, field goal kicking.
Screw it. Let's just watch it. If we get I'll deal with the fine. All right, and then we really gotta log off.
No, we'll watch it afterward. Oh, it is on there easily. Oh my gosh, it looks like it's shot with one of those old school like VHS tape camcorders.
The fact that you have to type in this much.
The way like you know how people talk about how actors when they show them throwing the football back and forth it looks awkward.
Yeah.
Watch his kicking motion. Oh my gosh, he runs directly at it, toes the ball. Apparently he nails it like 70 yards. Oh my god. Tell me, did you actually like sit through the whole thing and watch it?
Yes. Multiple times. I'm not joking. Hold on, I gotta make sure you can.
Oh, God.
Let me see if I can.
What producer's like, you know what?
Hold on. Let me play this.
Okay. This producer should be fired.
You guys can have our reaction.
Magical world of Disney. Disney shows you how to become a football legend. First, discover the secret to training with household objects. Then, be sure to practice your hand-eye coordination. And never, ever forget the importance of teamwork.
I have a tryout.
For more tips, watch the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon. Wednesday at 8:45, 7:45 Central, right after Angels in the Attic on Magical World of Disney.
Oh God! So this was a TV show, huh? Or was it a movie?
You say
I said, was this a movie or a TV show?
it's a movie.
Yeah, I'm
It
sure
was a
that producer.
movie.
I'm sure that producer got fired. I'm sure. I'm sure he did. It's so horrible. It looks so horrible. Yes, you're right. It did, and we've been going on now for over an hour talking about this.
Oh
Oh
gosh,
my!
this is hilarious, dude. That movie's y'all. That trailer was terrible, by the way.
Yes, I know. I watched it without any context. I watched it without any sound, and for some reason, without any sound, it's better than when you watch it with sound. Like I'm more interested in watching it without sound. Uh, oh God.
Hold on, I gotta.
Yeah, we did our predictions. I think I said 27-10, and Steven said 38. What was it? 38 what?
35-13.
35-13.
Oh, here we go. Oh gosh. All right, we got one more time. One more. We'll last. We'll last year. Just because it's funny.
What are we watching?
Uh,
What is that? Are we watching stupid?
hang on. Hey, just give me 1 second.
I think that would be a good series, like a live of us just going through like all the really crappy Disney movies we used to watch.
This is so low quality.
They paid as much money on production of this movie as OU paid Long Island University to play them.
Hold on.
Well, our pursuit on defense, I don't see it. You linemen are moving about as fast as a steamer clam on a frog's belly.
What audio is this?
These guys are in your house. They're running out the back door with your mom's
Hey, damn it, that was a dud.
Hey, side note, that's the isn't that the assistant coach in the replacements? Is it? I think it is.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's the assistant coach in the replacements.
Oh yeah, I got it now.
it. You linemen are moving about as fast as a steamer clam on a frog's belly. These These guys are in your house. They're running out the back door with your mom's TV set. Are you going to let them steal your mom's TV?
What? What?
So this is it. We're just going to roll over and die for him, huh? No! I'll handle it, Gorman.
You call yourselves Philadelphia Eagles? I've been an Eagle fan my whole life. You don't look like Philadelphia Eagles. You look like a bunch of stockbrokers in helmets. You know, with all the money and special treatment we get, it's easy to forget what this game is all about. I know. I got caught up in it too. But we have a tradition to keep here. We're the Philadelphia Eagles, not the Los Angeles whoever's.
They couldn't even get the right.
It's bigger than you and me.
Yes.
It's bigger than all of us because we come and go. Those fans out there, they stay. And that's what this team is all about. No, my dad's out there in those stands today. He's been an Eagle fan for 70 years. If the Eagles lose on Sunday, you can't even talk to them until Wednesday. And there's a million other people just like them.
Pause
the
real
Eagles
quick.
game is the best
Pause real
3
quick.
hours they get.
So, real quick. Real quick. Justin Tucker's the greatest field goal kicker of all time. If he started doing this in the locker room, what do you think they would say to him? Yo, Jay Tuck, my man, shut the fuck up. That's what they'd say. All right, you can play. You can play.
It gets them through the rest of the week. There's a lot of people in this town who would love a chance to win the big game. But they'll never get the chance. You know, the cops, the bus drivers, the butchers. That's who we're playing for. Are you guys going to let them down? Oh, are you? No! Are you? No! Come on. So then let's get out there and win one for the hard-working people of
Casey throws. He catches him into the 25, thumbing, stumbling over the 15. That's a big-time play.
All right. I had to cut that shit off. I'm sorry.
They didn't even have the money to pay for the rights for the Los Angeles, whoever they are. Oh, shit.
It's like he was ad-libbing.
So two things about this, chat. I want to thank you for that shirt, and I want to thank you for introducing this to my life, because I am going to watch this piece of trash early morning tomorrow just to get pumped for the game. Thank you so much for this. I'm sorry to say.
All right. I'm good. Are you good? You're good? You're good. Oh, man. Look, we'll be back tomorrow night after the
with my review of the garbage pail kicker who decided to join the Eagles.
For the city of Philadelphia, with the hard worker
I know, seriously. Dude, if you don't shut up and just kick field goals, I swear.
Who is this guy? Why is he in our locker room? Oh, man. All right, fellas. Good night.
All right. It's a good way to close it up.
Oh, gosh. Remember, boys always suck.
Oh, this is great chat.